probably figured out by now, it is not going to happen. The fight is not going to happen at Digital Life today. I apologize to anybody who was excited about that. Pretty much, the gist of it is because of the short amount of time that we had to promote it, they didn't want to do it. They didn't. They pretty much, this is going to be the first time they wanted to do it big, and they wanted to do it the right way. And trying to promote something in a 3-week period just wasn't going to do it, especially the fact that with 3 weeks, a lot of people from the West Coast would not be able to participate and did not want to as an event that without fully representing the community.
Okay. You're kind of breaking up a bit. So just to repeat what you said that there is not going to be a fighting game tournament at Digital Life, and that and the reason is because there was insufficient time to properly market that part of the tournament. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
However, that does not mean that DGL has decided to stay away from the fighting game community.
Okay.
As I think I've said before, I'm pretty much in charge of that wing of the GPL, and of course I'm not going to let it go. It's not going to have Digital Life this year, but I am pushing for next year, and I would say early 2007, you might see some events. Don't quote me on that. I'm pushing for it at the moment, but once it does happen, I'm sure you'll be the first to know.
Cool. Well, first I wanted to say that I mean, it's sad that it won't be another tournament. I think it'd have been pretty cool, because there will be a lot of people that were willing to make the travel there, and everything. And so it's unfortunate. But if they push for it, if it gets done next year, sometime next year, then you know what, that's fine. 2 big tournaments is just it's better than one, and and I don't mind that. I mean, but I do mind that it won't happen this year. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to it, and ever since I heard about it, I was going to make a point to cover the event, and now it's not going to happen. But but I do wanted to take the time, for all the people that worked on getting it done, including yourself. I do wanted to say thank you for at least trying. The effort. I think the effort was there, and I think that we can, I'm just glad that there's people that in the in higher places that was able to get it done. And so I mean,
if you don't mind, I will give a little bit on how it all came to be. If the people didn't know, that actually was my base. If people know, I used to work for x3o Gaming out in Rockville, Maryland, and I started
you're breaking up real bad. You want to just try to call back? Maybe just got a bad connection.
Okay, can you call right back?
Yeah, just call right back. Because last time we talked, we talked fine. So.
Okay, I'll call you right back then.
All right then.
All right.
Hello?
Hey.
Okay. I think.
Is it better?
I can't tell. But go ahead and speak. Let me see how it works out.
Okay. Well, basically, a little bit of history is I was doing the x3o Ticket to Evo tournament series, in which I was going to sponsor somebody to go to Evo. In the course of doing that series, I caught the attention of Steve from GGO, and he and I talked, and we kept talking, and he thought that it would be a good idea to start covering fighting games, as GGO. He and I have been, did a lot of things, traveled into different events and stuff like that, just to so he could get a little bit better view of the community. And he started talking to me about digital life, just off the cuff, just regular conversation. He was telling me about all the PC gaming. I was like, well, no, why don't we do fighting game tournament there? So pretty much from there, we started talking. Jason from GGL, he's pretty much, my boss at GGL. He liked the idea. He actually used to play fighters competitively back when he was younger. So his heart is there. Mine is there too. I mean, I've been playing Tekken and Street Fighter and all that since. I'm old. I'm not that old, but I'm old. I'm 30, so I've been playing since like 90, something like that. So that's what my heart was too. And I just thought this would be a good idea. I mean, honestly, I didn't really even hear about the Evo tournament until this year. Early, and I mean, I guess that's just the whole question of me being on the East Coast. Maybe I just didn't know I wasn't in the right circle or whatever. But I thought it was a great idea. That's why I decided to sponsor that event to Evo, because like, there's a lot of people on the East Coast that probably can't go just because of the money situation. So that's why we did what we did, and figured doing something on the East Coast might be a good idea, because once again, a lot of people from here can't get out there that either would be good contenders or just be a good experience, because it might elevate their game. So anyway, I'm pretty bummed that it didn't happen this year. It's like I think since April we've been planning this, honestly, and then since June we got the go ahead, and July is when we really started planning it, and from there it just kind of stagnated. Not for different reasons, which I won't really get into that on the radio right now. But bottom line is, I think it was a loss for the community, because although it may happen, it would have happened sooner. And the sooner the evolution, I don't mean evolution term, but the sooner the evolution of the community, happens, the better. And as we all know, gaming is a pretty huge industry, and the money's gonna start getting huge and big for everybody. So it would have been nice to start as soon as possible. But I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say. If anybody has any questions, I'd definitely be ready, be willing to field them. I had two things. I was listening to a recording of the show I was on last week. No big deal, but I just wanted to clarify two things. One, yes, I am officially part of GGO. And two, I am not Jinmaster's right-hand man. No, we do work together, but I don't want to look like I'm his assistant or something like that. So, I just thought it was funny that he said that. But anyway, like I said, if anybody's got any questions, shoot, go ahead.
Actually, you're on the phone line, so no one would be able to call in, which is fine. I mean, I'm very skeptical on letting people ask you questions, because since you work for GGL, I don't want to put you in a situation where they ask you questions and they may compromise your disclosure agreements that you have with GGL. And
well, check this out. I used to be I just got out of the Marine Corps not too long ago, and I was public affairs. So believe me, I know how to dodge questions or answer them politically correctly.
I mean,
so I'm not too worried about that. But I understand. I appreciate the concern, though.
Someone messaged me earlier today on RSC, and they said that actually, you know what? Now I thought about it. Another person that everyone would know in the community messaged me. It was during the time I was interviewing the first time around, and they said that SRK sabotaged the tournament, or I shouldn't say that. They said that SRK sabotaged the chances of this tournament actually happening. So okay. I will ask you this, because everyone wants to message me to ask it, and of course, if you can't answer it, I understand that. But how do you feel about such a statement like that?
Well, I will say that GGO decided that, and I think Jinmaster was talking about this earlier when he was on last week. GGO decided that because the SRK is pretty much the face of the community at the time being, that including them would be pretty much, basically, it's extending a hand. Hey, you guys are fighting. We definitely like to hear you be on board when we do this thing. It's just like, respect thing. So they were in talks for a long time, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, obviously, well, I mean, hindsight is 2020. Obviously, if you get it done for next year, if by the way, is this the Digital Light tournament that's happening this October? Does it happen every year around that time?
This would be the third year, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, the plan is, yes, it will be an annual thing. And it's pretty much different games each time. Let me not say that. It's different games this year than it was last year. Obviously, we're trying to add the fighters this year.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. It might happen next year. As you probably know, I mean, like people like MLG is holding one of their events there that they're doing on Halo and Smash and the games that they do out there. So it's not just GGL doing games there. I mean, there's different companies or organizations that do tournaments there. Then they also do, like, for instance, last year when Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out, they showcased it there and had like a little tournament there before it was even released in stores. So that's the kind of things that you expect there. You might see, the new iPods that they haven't come out, or it's pretty much a technology expo. And since gaming obviously, is elevated by technology, it's a good format to showcase new games. Obviously, they have like the PS3 showcase there, which, as everybody knows, is probably not supposed to be released till November. So that kind of stuff.
Well, okay. One question that I will ask, and I think that from the other side, someone said that no, I'm not going to ask you that question because I mean that's not really a fair question to ask.
I mean, you can ask me anything. Whether or not I can tell you it's a different story.
Well, I mean, because it's like some people have there are people that are saying that GGL dropped the ball on it on this whole
GGL did not
to have the tournament, to have these tournaments added, these fight game tournaments added to the already games established, for the tournament at this year's Digital Light. How do you feel about?
That's a fair question.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to answer that. Basically, I would say the only fault that GGL had in this event, or in dropping the ball, so to speak, was that they tried to reach out to an established community figurehead rather than just doing it themselves, me being included. If they were, if Jason, that's pretty much the guy in charge, was like, hey Damon, let's do this, then it would have been done. However, he decided he was going to try to be the good guy or nice guy, or just be politically correct or whatever he wants to call it. And I would say that was his only fault, was not trying to just bogart the whole situation. If he had done it, yeah, it would have been successful. But like you said earlier, hindsight is 2020.
Okay. Actually, DSP wants to ask you a few questions. Do you mind, or do you have to go? Or
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to call him through Skype. When I call people through Skype, this quality ain't all that great, but we'll see.
Okay.
Uh, come on. I'm waiting for him to give me the number. By the way,
Yeah.
I guess another question: do you agree? Would you have rather? How can I put this? If it was up to you, would you have gone a different route than contacting SRK as far as running the tournament?
Definitely, I could have done it myself.
Okay. And if you were like one of the top execs in in the decision making process, and let's say you weren't let's say you were just a top exec, would you have probably look into alternatives than that? than letting SRK run it or something like that? 'Cause,
I think a lot of what happened was just the fact that the people who are at the head don't necessarily know the community well enough.
okay.
So which is the main reason why they decided to go with a community figurehead.
Hmm.
As you can probably understand why that might make sense.
Right.
They just felt safer, I think.
All right.
But
I'm going to go ahead and get what's his face on the phone. One sec.
Hello.
DSP.
Hey, what's up, Bunke?
Hello?
All right. I got
Hey, what's going on, man?
I got Damon online.
Hey, what's going on,
Hey,
DSP?
what's up, man?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm going to be honest, but
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, I don't think anybody's more disappointed than I am, man. Seriously.
all right. Well, I got coming from my perspective, being the kind of guy that I am involved with the community. I got a couple honest questions I want to ask you. And I don't want to put you on the spot because I know you're a cool guy, but I want you to answer as honestly as you can. Is that cool?
Sure. Of course.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: why, first of all, would GGL even go to SRK to run this tournament? I don't understand that. Do you know why they went to SRK?
Like I was saying before, the reason why is because it wasn't. All right, as you probably understand, even the people at GGL have people to answer to. As you know, GGL is owned by Ziff Davis, and Ziff Davis is the company that runs Digital Life. I think, and I'm not 100% certain on this because I wasn't in the meeting, but the gist of everything I got was pretty much, I think, going with the so-called figurehead of the community, that being SRK, I guess, a known entity by, Ziff Davis, made them feel safer about doing the event. It wasn't necessarily something that was based in any type of reality, I guess. I mean, I think you yourself, like people like Fee, or I mean, I know I could have done it. Anybody who's run these type of tournaments, in the past at the majors and all that would have been able to do it. I think it was just a matter of, them being comfortable with a big name. But that, I mean, honestly, yeah, like I was saying before, I was trying to tell people that it didn't need to be that way. We could have just done, at the very least, a grassroots type event, where it's just like, and that's kind of where I was trying to go with it afterwards, once it was realized that SRK was not going to be doing it, and we didn't have really a lot of time to do it. I mean, I pretty much submitted my proposal on how it was going to be done. I had certain people that I knew would be able to do it, that I was going to contact if it had gone through, and so on and so forth. But honestly, I understand where you're coming from, and you're right. SRK did not need to be used to do this tournament, and I think the way that they were trying to go about it, once they were contacted, is the reason why it did not happen at this point.
Well, what was the way they were going about it? What did SRK do wrong that basically made this tournament not happen? That's what I don't understand.
I think this is one of those questions where I can't answer fully for legal reasons. But what I can say is that the time period that they had, at the time they were contacted, we had ample time to get everything straight. For whatever reason, nothing was resolved up until the point where last week it was decided that Digital Life would not be done with SRK. Whether I don't know, I wasn't there, so whether SRK decided that they weren't going to do it or Ziff Davis decided they were not going to use SRK, I do not know. And I probably will not find that out. But it was, once Jason emailed me and was like, hey, ball's in your court, Do you think you can make this happen? And given the circumstances in the time period, we just decided, hey, it's probably best that we don't do it this year.
Well, I mean, let me at least speak from my own experience and what I know of SRK. I do know that SRK was contacted pre-Evo about this event, but I also know that in all reality, SRK is what? A handful of 5 to 6 people. I mean, we're not talking about a real company. We're talking about a handful of people who are trying to keep the fighting game community alive. And to expect a handful of people to not only balance, evolution, the size that evolution was, the prizes of evolution this year, and then to plan ahead for digital life after evolution, I think that was unreasonable. And I think that GGL, to put that kind of weight on SRK's shoulders, was very unreasonable. Now, I just want to state for the record that I myself offered to GGL Steve to get people together, not SRK staff, but people like myself and Fee and other people who have run tournaments in the Street Fighter community to step forward. And out of, the kindness of our own hearts, we're not looking for money to get paid for this, to try to run this event at Digital Life, because we understood what a step forward this would have been for the community, to get sponsorship from a corporation and to really get out into the limelight, to get media coverage. And basically, GGL Steve said, oh, well, we already talked to SRK. There's nothing we can really do. We have to wait for them first. It's all in their hands. So I'm sorry, but in my opinion, GGL is the corporation here that dropped the ball, and putting all the responsibility on the shoulders of a couple people who were already running a huge event, had more than they could handle on their hands, and basically giving them, at the last second, saying, hey, look, in a month or two we're having this event going on, do you want to run it? And then complaining when they didn't get back to them during the week of their major tournament. I mean, I talked to GGL Steve the Friday after Evolution, and he was like, oh, well, I don't know if Digital Life's going to happen because Evolution staff isn't getting back to me. They're saying that, oh, we didn't get emails back, we're not getting phone calls back. Dude, they just ran the biggest fighting game tournament in history. They're probably still shipping TV back from the fucking West Coast to wherever they got to get stored for next year. And you're complaining that they're not returning an email? Give me a fucking break, man. So this is pretty lame that they're trying to put all the responsibility on SRK. I think that's just totally unfound, especially when there were people on the East Coast who would have volunteered their own efforts to run this thing for GGL. That's just my take on it.
Okay, well, in response to that, first of all, they were not putting the responsibility on SRK. They were asking if SRK wanted to be involved. So all SRK had to say was no, and then that would have been it. But the fact that they didn't get back to them at all, or that wasn't even it. There were meetings that were scheduled that were not attended, or people didn't call, phone calls that were set up by both parties where people just were not nowhere to be found, stuff like that. So it wasn't that GGO was like, hey, do this. We need you to do this. This was like, do you want to do it? Okay, yeah, sure. Let's. This is don't quote me on this, but I'm just giving you the gist of what happened. Hey, sure, let's get together, and then it's like you set up a meeting, and then you show up, but the other party doesn't. And then no courtesy call, no courtesy email, no nothing, no type of information whatsoever. So it was pretty much a situation where they were trying to be courteous because okay, yeah, we extended this offer, they seem interested, but we're not getting a response back. Okay, so I don't want to just overstep you because I let this offer out, and you pretty much sounded like you're interested, but what do you do? Do you just say, okay, fuck you, let's go? Or do you give them a little bit of time to get it together because you know that they just did that big event? That's what was going on.
Okay. I got another honest question for you, and I want you to answer as honestly as you can. I don't know if you really can, but my question to you is, was this whole thing, and this is what's been rumored behind the scenes the whole time, was it really about money? Was it about charging SRK for floor space? Was it about renting floor space and GGL making a buck? Or was it really not about that at all? Was it just other stuff going on, politics and stuff like that? Because I've heard many sides of the story, and I really don't know what to believe. I would like to believe that GGL isn't all about the money, but I have heard that going on, basically, that, you know, there was a big argument about floor space, and SRK wanted to run this tournament, and GGL was telling them, no, you know, you have to pay for floor space, and then you can rent out the floor space as you see fit, and there was a big argument about that at the last minute, and that's why this didn't happen. So do you know anything about that, or can you even comment on that?
I can say this. First of all, no, I wasn't there, and I was not at that conversation. So anything I say about what you just said about the conversation about the argument about floor space would be just speculation. But pretty much, from what I know, the whole fighting game tournament was not going to be for profit. Just like what you said, it was kind of like an introductory thing. Like, you know, we want to test it out, see if it works, see if we can make it work. If we don't make a profit off it, that's fine. If we do, that's cool. But we're not looking to make a profit off of it. You know, it was kind of like an exploratory type thing. So no, I can tell you with assurance that no, it wasn't about money. So, but what was said between SRK and GGL, I don't know.
Okay, well, it's good that you're honest. I mean, at least you didn't bullshit like GGL Steve bullshits all the time. That's why I don't talk to that guy anymore. I mean, he used to talk out of his ass like 24/7, and I couldn't even trust him anymore.
Well, if anything, I mean, I'm always going to give you the real deal. I mean, if I can't tell you, then I can't tell you, but I'm not going to lie to you.
All right, well, all right, I hate to take over the radio show like I'm doing, but I do have a couple more questions for you. Not regarding Digital Life, but actually regarding yourself and the history of the x3o tournaments and some other stuff that went on. Do you mind if I ask you those questions?
Sure, man.
Well, hold on. What's this all about?
Well, this is concerning stuff that went on between Damon and the x3o tournaments that he ran. And, yes, I'm going to be honest, Jinmaster and his relationship to Jinmaster, because I think a lot of people really want to know what really is going on between Damon and Jinmaster, and why they seem to have this link that they can't sever, and the fact that a lot of people are telling Damon over and over that hooking up with Jinmaster is bad for you. He's actually hurting the turnout at all of your tournaments that you're running. But it seems like every time I hear about Damon,
hold on.
I hear about Jinmaster.
But that has nothing to do with, as you stated, that has nothing to do with GGL. When he agreed to come on and do this announcement, that's what he agreed to do. I didn't know that you were going to.
Well, okay, hey, that's why I just asked him if it's okay with him. If it's not okay with him, that's fine.
I don't mind answering the question if you don't mind it being answered. But I mean, if you want to talk about other things, that's fine.
Okay, I mean, it's just okay. I mean, hey, as
long as it's 100%,
as long as it's 100% cool with you, that's fine. I mean, I'm just saying that's just a little bit of sleight of hand there, because I didn't know that was going to start going that.
Nah, don't worry about it, man.
All right.
I appreciate what you're saying, but yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's cool.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, Bunkay, it's your radio station, man. I don't want to overstep my bounds, so if it's cool with you, I'll ask. But if not, I mean, just let me know, man.
Okay. All right. Well, he says it's completely fine. Then just go ahead and ask your questions, man. Go ahead.
All right.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's see. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give my account of, you know, what I know of Jinmaster and why I think it's messed up that you linked yourself with him. And I'll be honest. I didn't even know who Jinmaster was until I decided to run ECC this year. I never heard of the kid because I don't follow the Tekken community one bit. I mean, I used to play Tekken back in the day. I was really good at Tekken 3, and after that, there wasn't any Connecticut in Connecticut. I mean, there wasn't any arcades in Connecticut. There was nowhere to really play it, and I kind of fell out of the scene. So I didn't know who Jinmaster was or anything like that. So I went to run ECC, and basically I made the major announcement that, okay, we're not going to have Tekken DR, you know, Dark Resurrection, in any major way at ECC. And the reason is because there's no console release of this game. There's no way I can realistically have a major tournament at ECC when there's no console release of this game.
Right.
I mean, it's not like I'm sponsored by any corporation and I've got $1,000 to go, rent out Tekken DR machines and ship them to the break. It's unrealistic to ask me to do that kind of a thing for ECC.
Look,
so what I went ahead and did was I announced that we can run a small Tekken DR tournament because the break does have one Tekken DR cabinet. And then I would offer to have a Tekken 5 tournament on PlayStation 2s, and have that be like kind of the major Tekken tournament, and then have the Tekken DR tournament almost be like a side event. Because I didn't want to not have Tekken. I understand that Tekken's a major part of the fighting game community, and I didn't want to isolate those players like that. But I knew that I wasn't going to be able to promise something like a full-scale Tekken DR tournament. I didn't want to be unfair and promise that and have hundreds of players show up and then have one cabinet and basically screw them all over. Right. So when I made that announcement, it was Jinmaster who ran to the Tekken Zaibatsu forums and basically said that, DSP and Josh Wigfall, who was the guy who I ran ECC with, they don't care about Tekken. They don't care about our community. All they wanted to do is care about Street Fighter, and they have all this money, and the owner of the break, Chris Cotty, is a rich guy, and he won't throw money to rent these cabinets. He doesn't care, and no one cares about Tekken. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. He was basically accusing us of not caring about a fighting game community when that was totally not the case. Like I said, we're not rich. We didn't have the money to put towards this. And just for the record, Chris Cotty was never involved with financing ECC. He just provided the venue for ECC. So to accuse him of not wanting to throw money, I mean, he's never put money into the games. Basically, whatever was there, and anyone who wanted to bring consoles or game boards or whatever were the people that made ECC happen. So not only was it insulting to myself and to Josh Wigfall, but it was insulting to Chris Cotty, the owner of the break as well. And to be honest, none of us were very happy with what Jinmaster was saying. So after that, he pretty much just isolated the entire Tekken community from ECC. And we had to make a decision. And the decision was, look, either we can have Tekken 5 at ECC, or, we won't. And the decision was, you know what? Jinmaster is leading all these people in a direction away from ECC. He's saying that ECC sucks. And following what's being said on the Tekken Zaibatsu forums, well, guess what? It looks like no one's really going to come to ECC besides a handful of people, so why even bother? So I hate to put blame on someone like this, but yes, Jinmaster was the reason that there was no Tekken at ECC. It was not myself and Josh Wigfall. We decided that rather than have a really shitty Tekken tournament, that we just not have it and focus on the other people that actually wanted to be at that event.
DSP, hold on for a second. I got a question. Why are you asking him about something? Because this is all about Jinmaster up to this point.
Right.
So why?
I think he's getting at it. He's wondering why I would associate myself with a person who supposedly sabotaged a game at his event.
Okay, but still though, I mean, here's my point of view. I don't know anything about this situation. All I'm going is back what you just said. I'm saying is all this stuff you said about Jinmaster. I don't think it is good. I don't think it's proper to ask someone, okay, this person did such and such and such and such and such and such, and that person is not on the radio station to defend himself. Because, I mean, that's just not right.
No.
I mean,
this isn't about me. This is about.
Hold on, let me address this real quick.
Okay.
Basically, my response to that was gonna be, I don't know what happened between him and Jinmaster. I heard stories. I've seen it on the boards. I've heard Jinmaster's side. I've heard, DSP's side. Personally, man, honestly, it doesn't really affect me. I mean, if you guys got beef or problems, honestly, and I've said this before, y'all need to just work this out. Because honestly, I already told him, hey, some of these things that you do and say is hurting you. It's not cool. You need to address and you need to address the people you obviously have been offending, and you need to change some of the things you're doing. I told him this. He'll tell you that. He'll tell you himself. But at the end of the day, Jinmaster is a very, how do I say, he's always trying to do something new. And for me, I mean, I mean, you guys aren't really around when we talk. Like, he and I have throw things back and forth, and he's got really good ideas. Some of them are real silly, and I tell him. And as I tell him, he needs to, focus, whatever. But, I mean, the dude really is trying to further the community. I think that some things that have happened between him and other people in his past, I mean, first of all, the dude's only 22 years old. I mean, I don't know anybody who wasn't 22 and done something real stupid. I mean, I know I did. I'm probably some people out there right now around that age that either are doing something stupid or have done or probably will do some more stupid stuff. But I mean, you learn from your mistakes. And if you talk to him right now, I guarantee if you would sit down and talk to him right now, he would tell you that he's trying to make amends. He's already reached out to some of the people he's offended and tried to make amends with them. So he's not a bad dude. I mean, yeah, his mouth gets him in trouble. People get the wrong impression of him because he does talk shit. But I mean, if anybody knows, I mean, come on, I grew up with a shit-talking family. I grew up with, shit-talking friends. I mean, whatever. And that's part of the game. But yeah, what he did with ECC, I don't agree with that. And I told him that. I don't know the whole story, but from what it sounded like, what he told me, from what I've heard from you, yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, honestly, yeah, I mean, as we can see, Tekken 5 was at EVO. He was at EVO. I mean, VR is not, cost effective to be at most tournaments. I mean, I haven't been to a Tekken 5 tournament except for at the arcade, up around my way and out in Virginia. And that's it. I mean, there are many other tournaments out there that just don't have VR because you can't do it. You're not gonna do it on the PSP. You're not gonna do it on the arcade machine because you just can't do it. So I mean, I understand why you're upset. You were trying to, do it cost-effective way. He wanted to do it his way. He was being bullheaded. I think it could have been resolved a lot better, but it wasn't. But I guarantee you it's not going to happen like that anymore. Especially if I have anything to say about it, because I'm trying to further this community as well. I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good to have factions where, you've got East Coast against West Coast, you got DSP against Jinmaster, you got, all this other stuff going on. I mean, just play the damn game. I mean, there's a lot to be done out there. The community can be furthered. There's more money for the players out there, and if we start getting this stuff together, sponsors aren't going to want to deal with a bunch of people who are infighting with each other. They're going to say, they're too disorganized. I mean, you see, I mean, I don't really want to compare the two, but you'll see a lot more cohesion in the PC gaming community, and I think that has something to do, not everything, but something to do with the reason why you've got people playing StarCraft and making $240,000 in a year. I mean, you don't see that in the fighting game community. It can be that way though, and that's what I'm trying to go for. And with all the fighting and all that, it doesn't work. Now, I told you this before on PM on Shoryuken. I'm willing to work with anybody that's willing to work with me. If you want some help trying to get something, I mean, I got my stuff together. I mean, I've got business proposals. I've got stuff that I've been putting out to different companies. I mean, hey, the sky's the limit. I'm not going to not talk to somebody because somebody else doesn't like them. I mean, in the case, yeah, you're right. Some of these tournaments definitely have been hurt by his presence. I know that. But the thing is, I think that once people start seeing that, and I'm going to start getting him out there and start telling him, hey, look, man, you need to talk to this person because for something, and I've been telling him actually, because if people aren't going to come to a tournament because of something you did in the past or this is going to affect your business, you really need to start, reevaluating the way you're doing things. You need to go tell them, hey, if there was a problem, tell them what it was. Don't just say fuck it and let it go because that's affecting your public appearance. I mean, your the way people look at you. So basically, bottom line, make a long story short, I think that y'all two need to just talk. Seriously. Y'all just be men, talk. I guarantee you if you approach him, he will be willing to talk to you about whatever. I mean, just let it all go. ECC is dead and gone. You know what I'm saying? That whole issue is it came to be what it was. ECC was successful. His tournament was successful on that day. I mean, just put it back together. There's no reason to be broke up.
I'm still here. I was waiting for Bunkhead to say something because he's talking online about how this isn't about digital life. So.
Right. Well, I mean, I knew you wanted to get that off your chest, so that's why I wanted you to just go ahead and say it. And I'd like for people to be able to hear what's going on between the two of us, because I know people have been saying that you're not the only person that said something about Jinmaster. There's local people around here. Some of the guys in Maryland, D.C., Virginia. I've had issues with people from Atlanta. They are. But the thing about it is, I have no dirty laundry that I'm scared to show. If I do anything, it's public knowledge. I don't care. If I did it, I'm not ashamed of it, or else I wouldn't have done it in the first place. And I'll explain anything to anybody. Doesn't matter. So if you got something you want to talk to me about, that's fine. I'll sit and talk to you. And I wanted to do this because I think this is probably the best way to get it out to the community so everybody knows what's going on. But I definitely didn't want to disrespect Bunkeye and his show, by trying to take it over.
No, it's not about that. I mean, what DSP was talking about was something that FMJ said, and because the way it is when I have people on for interviews, that's fine. If it's just a general interview, but this was actually something where you was coming on and you was talking about digital life. And you was talking about the announcement concerning digital life, and then now, now all of a sudden this gets turns around into something about ECC. I have no, this is like I'm totally lost. People are asking me what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, because obviously this happened. I wasn't there for it. I don't have any comment on it. I'm just saying is that it's completely a different wavelength because it had nothing to do with digital life.
Okay.
What?
Two things.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there's nothing left to be said about digital life. We know the fighting game is happening.
That's true.
We know that the ball has been dropped, and rather than stand here and talk about hearsay all day, I think we should talk about stuff that the people on the radio know about. Okay. And number two, I mean, the best radio, to be honest, the radio that I've heard is stuff that happens on the spot, not stuff that's pre-planned. So yeah, it's great that, you want to talk about digital life, but Damon's pretty much said as much as he can say about digital life. He doesn't really know a lot of the technical stuff, the behind-the-scenes stuff that was going on. And so why should we put him on the spot talking about this all night when I have some specific questions for him concerning, his history in running tournaments and his relationship with Jinmaster that I think a lot of the listeners might want to hear.
Well,
again, it's your radio station.
No, what I'm just saying is, if you want to come on and ask that, fine. It's just that I would have liked to known about it beforehand because, I mean, it just popped out of nowhere. That's what I'm saying. Because you contact me, says, hey, I want to ask, I want to talk to, Damon about this whole shit with digital life. I'm like, okay, fine. Because, I mean, after all, that's what this is about, the digital life shit, and, then all of a sudden it turned around to stuff happening at ECC with Jinmaster. I'm just scratching my head because I'm going, okay, what does this have to do with? I mean, like I said, it's like you flipped the script on it, on me, I mean, like I said, even though he's saying he's fine with it, but I'm saying this, it's what?
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, man. Is there anything else that you do want to know about digital life?
No, I mean, I think you said about all you can say about it. I mean, I just didn't know that it was going to turn. It was going to turn to this. I just didn't know that, because even though that you were fine with it, that you're fine with answering questions, I didn't. I mean, it's just like if you go on TV and someone starts asking about, let's say, some type of event in the past that has no relation to the present. You're being brought about an interview about, let's say, the presidency.
Like when Ludacris went on Oprah, he went on there trying to talk about, what's going on with him, and she flipped the script and started talking about his lyrics and stuff like that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, because it looks like sleight of hand. And no, I'm not saying that DSP is trying to put you on the spot, but at the same time, though, I don't like that happening because you came here for the specific purpose of talking about the digital life. If it was a general interview, I wouldn't have any problems. Mm-hmm. Like if it was like, hey, I'm going to have what's his face on tonight, Damon on tonight to talk about the digital life tournament. But then, that's totally different than saying I'm going to have him on for an interview about whatever. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, DSP and I have talked in the past before. He pretty much let me know his opinions on stuff. I just think that I don't know. Maybe this is good therapy, man. You know, that's the way I look at it. I'm cool, man. Like I said, I mean, anybody that knows me, I'm real laid back. I talk about anything, anybody at any time. It doesn't bother me. I appreciate where you're coming from, though. So yeah, like I said, if you want to talk about a certain thing, it's cool. If anybody blindsides me, hey, I mean, I've been through it all. It's not a big deal.
Hey, man, my intention wasn't to blindside you. I mean, I asked you a couple questions about the light.
It's cool. Man. I know. I'm half playing with you, man. I know you're gonna say something about that.
I mean, I'm glad it's all cool and all. I mean, I was just, just caught off guard a bit. That's all.
All right, okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Is it cool if I make a statement to Damon, and then if you want me off the phone, I'll get off the phone?
You can make statements. I mean, that's like all I say is let's try to keep it civil. You know.
Hey, man, I'm all about being civil.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. All I want to say is, Damon, I met you at ECC. You seem like a really cool guy. You seem like you were very well-intentioned. And every time that I heard that you were teaming up with Jinmaster to run a tournament, it was just like a shock. A shock to me, because I was like, what the hell? This guy, this well-intentioned guy, is teaming up with someone who has done something genuinely negative to the fighting game community and who a lot of people have turned against. And to hear that you were fired from your job, to lose your job because the x3o series of tournaments wasn't successful, that was a very hard job.
Whoa, okay. Where did you hear that from? That's not even the case.
Wow. All right. Then in that case, let's hear the truth, because I don't know the truth.
Yeah, all right. Once again, this is something that I'm not allowed to speak about legally. However, I will say this. I paid for that whole tournament out of my own pocket, and part of the reason why I left there was because of the fact that, as you can understand, I should not have had to pay for that. I'm not going to say what happened, but I did pay for it. So as you can
which tournament? The x3o or the one in Georgia?
Yeah. No, the x3o tournament. I paid
You paid for all that out of your pocket?
Yes.
Holy shit, I didn't know about that, man.
Exactly. Now you can see why I'm not there anymore.
All right, so let's hear the real deal. What happened with x3o, and why the hell did you pay that out of your pocket? I thought that you were doing that for some company.
Yeah, x3o is the name of the company. It's the name of the gaming center. Pretty much, like I said, I don't want to get myself. Probably anybody that's listening probably has no idea about anybody that works there. So I could probably say what I want to, but just because I'm not trying to get sued, I will say that pretty much what was supposed to happen was the company was supposed to pay for the tournament, pay for the prize of the tournament. Somewhere along the line, it was decided by the management that it was not going to get paid for. My name was on the line. I was the one that had been promoting this. Everybody knew me. They didn't know anybody else there. So what did I decide to do? I did what the honorable thing was. I decided I was going to pay for it no matter what happened, and keep the tournament going, because I'm not going to hype something up, have my name on it, and then just freaking let people who came. I mean, we had people come from Mexico, we had people come from Canada, had people come from all different states come to this tournament, and then for me to tell them, hey, this isn't going to happen, nobody's going to EVO, I wasn't going to do that. So I sucked it up, paid for it, and then left.
Wow, that's really lame. And they made you pay for the whole fucking thing, put all the responsibility
They didn't make me pay for it. They were willing to just say, fuck it, let's stop. But I wasn't about to let that happen. Now, I will say in their defense, my vision was a little bit broader than theirs was, but they didn't necessarily see the big picture and what could have happened. But they made a business decision, and I think it was the wrong one, but they made a business decision that they thought was right. And I made a character, pretty much my character would not allow me to let people have come and spent their time and money to an event that I was holding, and the prize that was announced did not happen. So no, it wasn't about me getting fired from x3o because of this and that, whatever. I think it was a mutual decision, but it was going to happen sooner or later.
Right. Well, in that case, man, I feel even worse. Because what I was going to say was, you know, with Jinmaster being associated with your tournaments, I'm sure he got a high head count for Tekken, and everything that I've read has said that he got a high head count for Tekken. But let's be honest, you know, all the Street Fighter games at those x3o events, especially the last couple of them, they were pathetic. And then at this last event that you just had, at what was it, CrunkCon, I believe, in Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just, it was like non-existent. People just did not come out for Street Fighter. Is that correct?
That is true. People did not come out from most or pretty much any Capcom game. It was mostly the 3D games and what's called
okay, let me ask a question right quick, just because I'm still lost as two left shoes on this whole thing. I mean, and you know, it's bad when the radio host is in the dark, you know. And the two people they'll guest are talking to each other, and the radio host is like, "Okay, let me go ahead and like clean my, wash some dishes." All right. Let me ask you this much. You know, I think I'll speak for everyone. You know, this whole thing with Digital Life had me thinking, you know, while you guys were talking, and I think that that we should like put our heads together, you know. You know, there's with anything, when you have a large group of people, there's bound to be drama. But but there's a point where you can let that drama destroy the community, you know. And I think that I'm not saying that's happening, but it can happen, you know. I mean, I give you props. I give you both props because you guys have run tournaments. I wouldn't have a first clue. Don't come to me asking me how to run a tournament. I'm like, oh, who the fuck you looking at? I'm like, you looking at the wrong dude, you know. So I mean, like I said, this dude, like we had the dude Jeff on yesterday, who's doing a Tekken 5 tournament at a McDonald's. You know, it was going to be a big turnout in Dallas. You know, because it was promoting the fact that McDonald's is 24 hours. Because it's a midnight video game.
McDonald's midnight something. I forget the exact name of it. Yeah, I know about it.
Yeah, and
actually, it's going on for like 3 months. I think the prize structure is like the top, like I think there's like 10 tournaments. Don't quote me on the number, but there's like 10 tournaments. The winner from each of those 10 tournaments gets like maybe like a $200-300 gift certificate to Best Buy and a bunch of other stuff. And then they all compete at the end. I think the last day is November 18th. November 18th is the last date, and those people are competing for $1,000 gift certificate for Best Buy and a bunch of other stuff.
Well,
so pretty much, yeah.
Because I was just going to say is that's one. I mean, because he told me how the prizes break down. How like anyone who qualifies automatically like $100 like gift card or something like that. I mean, that's and that's great. And so, I didn't get a chance to really talk to him as much as I wanted to because I want to basically ask him.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
You have that? Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, doing some parenting.
No,
Go ahead.
I was just saying that, that would have been a great, that's a, he said he took 3 years to get this all done. And I'm like, damn, 3 years.
Yeah.
Trying to get the sponsors and everything. But, hey, at least he showed it can be done. And I think that we should be working on shit like that, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I think that's what I was alluding to earlier. I mean, I think the community is going in the right direction. I think if more people would just work together, then I think it would be a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say that we're going to try. I mean, there's a lot nothing impresses me more when when a group of people put their heads together, because that's how anything gets done. You know, it's not a one man army here. I mean, it's going to take all of us to make it happen. All of us have our different strengths, and I would like to see, me and Alex talked about this at length, is that people try to come together, because the PC sector, gaming, they're incredibly organized, and we're organized, but we're usually organized like within the perspective game or publisher, like Capcom, and Namco with Soul Calibur and Tekken. But I was thinking, in the last couple of nights, after having so many people on, that we really should kind of pool our resources, because we need to show that it's not a bunch of fighting communities. It's really just one big fighting community. We all have our preferences on games, but we're all the same type of people. We like fighting games, whether it be 2D or 3D or something like that. And I think it behooves all of us, if we want to see it grow and sustain itself. If it's going to grow, we're going to need new blood, And I think that we should get together and see about making that happen. I'm dead serious about that.
I mean, honestly, we need to just support each other's events. I mean, truth be told, I know that I don't want to beat a dead horse. I know a lot of people have a problem with Jinmaster. However, I don't think that there's ever been an event besides, I'm sorry about this DSP, besides ECC, where he's ever told anybody not to go to it. And matter of fact, he tells people to go to them. Because, I mean, if anything, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. If anything, the more people that go, the more money in the pot, the more money the person wins. And then also, the flip side of that is, the more people that go to an event, the more it stays alive.
Whoa. Are you saying that Jinmaster never said people should not go to ECC?
No, I said besides that. That's why I apologize.
Oh, okay. That's pretty much blatantly what he did say on the forum. So
yeah, I realize that's what happened. I mean, like I said, I already got on about that.
Let me get back to the subject. Let me make my statement that I wanted to make, and and then if you guys have any questions for me or whatever, or else I'll just get off, because obviously Bunkay's mad that I took this on a tangent. But
I'm not mad.
My statement is basically this: Jinmaster, he's very controversial. He does what he wants to do, and in one respect, I can understand that, because I used to be that kind of a person. I mean, years ago, I was the guy making the videos that parodied SRK staff, saying "fuck Mr. Wizard" and "fuck all these people," just to get publicity. But at the same time, it's another thing when you actually go ahead and you hurt a major tournament. I mean, when we talk about ECC, we're talking about one of the big four. You got ECC, Evolution, Midwest Championship, down, and then on the other hand, you got probably, Final Round, which is in Georgia, which is pretty much getting up there. So I would even say maybe the Big Five, because Final Round was really good last year, and I expect them to be really good this year as well. But for someone to come out of relatively nowhere and basically take an entire community of gamers and say, you know what, fuck this tournament, we don't like it, for no reason. That's just so disrespectful, not only to myself, but to the people that have run ECC before. I mean, I'll be honest, Fee saw that as a slap in the face. And I'm sure Todd Dwyer saw that as a slap in the face, because these guys have been trying to build up ECC for a decade and make it a tournament that encompasses all kinds.
He had a good relationship.
What's that?
I thought he and Fee were cool. I thought Jinmaster and Fee were cool.
I hear all this stuff about behind-the-scenes talk, and then I actually talk to Fee, and he laughs, and he says, Jinmaster, whatever. Let me tell you something about Fee, and this is something you'll only hear tonight. Fee is the kind of person that wants to appease everybody, because he knows if he pisses off one person, it'll hurt the head count at his tournament. So, no, he's not going to go to Jinmaster and say, you're an asshole, you fucked over ECC. But everyone knows that last year Jinmaster fucked over ECC. I mean, he basically made it so that no real Tekken player would be at that tournament, regardless of what anyone says, we have logs, we have fucking forums that prove that he said this to his community. So,
right. Well,
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, we don't need to go down that path again, but I mean, I just, yeah, I mean.
But anyway, my whole point with what I was trying to say is that I feel bad for someone like you, Damon, who you really care about the community, and not only the Tekken community. I know you care about the entire fighting game community and having everything, you know, be bigger than what it is right now and trying to get sponsorship. But because you're teaming up with someone like Jinmaster, it is hurting your chances. And I saw it at X3o, and I saw it at your CrunkCon. No one is going to come out for Street Fighter as long as you have Jinmaster, you know, teaming up with you. And I'm being totally honest with you. And I want to actually make a public apology to you, because I know that for a lot of those tournaments, X3o, CrunkCon, you know, I was talking shit and I was posting shit on SRK saying, fuck this tournament. If Jinmaster has something to do with it, I'm not going. And I'm sure a lot of people probably read that and said, oh, you know, Jinmaster's an asshole. And I want to apologize for any negative impact I had on those tournaments, because I never meant for that to hurt you, because I really do feel like you're a good-hearted person. But you really have to realize who the person that you are teaming up with, and you have to realize that it's only going to hurt you in the long run, and that there are a lot of people out there who aren't out to isolate a certain community of gamers, and who are willing to help you with the kind of stuff that you want to do, and they're probably not even as close to as controversial as Jinmaster is. And I just wish that you would wake up to that fact and start working with those people rather than this kid who basically doesn't know his place, disrespects people who have been in the Street Fighter community for decades, and basically pisses on people who don't like Tekken. I mean, that's just fucking unacceptable.
Well, let me ask you this. Am I required to go reach out to them? If they know where I am, why don't they reach out to me?
Well, why don't you talk to people who run final rounds? Why don't you talk to people down there who are already running established Street Fighter tournaments? I mean,
Larry and I have spoken. He and I have already come to an agreement, and so yeah, I just didn't want to put anybody's name into this if it wasn't, you know, if they're not here, first of all, if it wasn't brought up. But yes, Larry and I have already spoken. I think, well, I'm not gonna say anything else about it. Basically, he and I think are pretty cool. Like I said, it has nothing to do with me. Once again, yeah, it is the Jinmaster effect, as I like to call it, I guess. But I mean, the thing about it is, if the man is trying to amend himself, you know, make amends to things that he's done and said in the past, why is it that nobody is willing to let it go? If he's trying to further things, and if he's not doing anything else stupid, you know, from this point on, you know, I mean, basically, if people show him love, he'll show love back at this point. I've already talked to him. Like I was saying earlier, I can guarantee you won't see any of that bullshit from him anymore. He realizes the damages that he's done.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Well, let me
I'm telling you this because I think the dude deserves a chance. I mean, he just turned 22, man. You know, like the stuff that he's done was when he was in 19 and 20, was 21 and 20. Which, well, yeah, he didn't know better, but he was also young and dumb.
Look, I made mistakes in my life too, and I realize that. But at this point, Jinmaster has never, ever, on a forum in real life, he's never come up to me and said, you know what I did at ECC was fucked up, and I'm sorry. And the day that he does that, everything's, I'll wipe the slate clean, and I'll like, you know what? Let's get people out for events. Let's get shit going. And I'll try to motivate people as much as I can to get down there, but he just seems like such a stuck-up person, at least for what he puts out online and even in person, because I did see him at Evo East, and he didn't even say a word to me, and I made him look like a fucking fool when he was playing Tekken, and I am I'm pretty happy about that, but whatever. I mean, if he wants to apologize to me, that's one thing, and I'll accept that apology. But it never made that happen.
So if he came up to you and tried to squash everything, so you're telling me that everything would be cool at that point?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
All right.
Listen, people call me the king of hate. Listen, and people call me the king of hate, but the fact is no one has ever come up to me, and number one, no one's ever hated me to my face. And number two, no one's ever apologized to me to my face. Everyone wants to talk big online, but no one wants to be a man in person. So the first person to be a man in person, I mean, I would respect the hell out of them. But again, Jinmaster has not done that. He's not come up to me and made any kind of an effort. All he's done is, you know, try to ignore me online and then hate on me online in different forums and shit. He's actually followed me into different threads on SRK to try to shit on me. When I told him, look, I thought that we were going to forget about each other.
That's not true. What up, DSP?
Anyway,
this is your man, Jinmaster.
Huh? Oh, shit, you're on the phone now?
Yes, sir, man.
There you go.
All right, so let's hear it. Are you gonna apologize for what happened to ECC, or are you gonna be a man, or are you gonna keep this shit up?
Whoa! Time out. I think this needs to be a mutual thing. I don't know what happened exactly with you, Phil, and you, Jinmaster, personally. I don't know what y'all said to each other. Obviously, there's some animosity going on. It needs to be squashed because it's going to hurt the community. We've both seen that. It hurt your event, Phil. It's hurt Jinmaster's event and my event. I'm not really that worried about it being, you know, my event portion. However, I think that if you two can squash this and we can get over this whole Jinmaster effect thing, then, like I said, the community will go further. So basically, both of y'all probably need to put your egos aside and your pride aside. And be like, look, hey, what's done is done. I'm sorry, Phil. I'm sorry, Mike. Let's move on. I think that's the way to go. You can't just sit back and expect somebody, you know, with your arms folded, and expect somebody to apologize to you, and that's cool because he's gonna be like, who the fuck is this? You know, I'm not gonna apologize. You know what I'm saying? Just be open. All right, I think I need to just go ahead and like shake hands, virtually shake hands or whatever. Just air it out right now.
All right, DSP, I will say this, man. Like Damon has said to you, you know, it was a mistake for me to redirect the Tekken community away from ECC. I have, you know, I felt, and I still feel this way, you know, but, you know, if it was to happen again, I wouldn't do the same thing. But, you know, I feel that having ECC at the break isn't, you know, the ideal spot. And that's how I felt back then. Not saying, you know, what I did was right, because, you know, I'll be the first one to say it was not right for me to do a different tournament on the same day as yours. And I will say I do apologize, DSP. You know, and I think, you know, the bickering, you know, needs to stop. And for you to say, you know, he didn't come up to me and ECC or, you know, Evo West or wherever the case was. I mean, Evo East. You know, I apologize. I guess I should have came up to you, you know, and been the bigger man and said, hey, you know what, man, this is bullshit. Let's work something out. And honestly, you know, I do recognize that you have, you know, a great pool in the 2D community, and, you know, I do have a good pool in the 3D community. I really feel if, you know, people like myself, Damon, yourself, C, even Larry, we all got together on the East Coast. You know, we worked together for each of our events, and then they can just be huge. I mean, I think that's what I want to see happen, and I hope in the future, you know, something like that, you know, will come from that. Anything else you want to say to me?
Well, taking into consideration everything that you just said, I want to apologize for the comments that I made to you at Evo East, because I know they were pretty fucked up, but they were just basically being made off the cuff with all the animosity that I had for you because of what happened to ECC. And I do accept your apology, and I appreciate that you did apologize publicly, because it shows that you are a man. And that's it. It's gone. The beef's gone. So if you want to have, you know, ECC, you want to team up, you want to run it together with C, you want to have other events going, that's it. The beef's done. It's squashed.
By the way, when you squash a beef, and this goes to everybody that's listening right now, if you squash a beef, You don't get off the line and then start talking about, oh, you know what, he apologized or whatever bullshit and blah 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 blah. You know,
Right.
one thing about forgiveness, when you forgive someone for what they did, even in the case that they wrong you again, this is how I've been taught. Maybe you've been taught differently, but when you forgive someone, you don't remember what they did, or you don't throw it back in their face, especially if something goes
right,
wrong.
you're right.
You know, because that's how people do it all the time. They're like, you know what, I forgive you, and then if they so much as step on your toe, all that shit comes back out again because they let you know you need to move on. You know. So, I mean, I would like to see you guys work together. I mean, I don't know. I still don't know why all the beef happened, but if it's squashed, that's good news. I'm glad it got squashed. I'm glad it's behind us. I'm glad we can move forward. I mean, look,
Live
right now.
on AlphaISM Radio.
Yeah, I mean, on AlphaISM Radio, no less, you know. Got it all recorded, so just in case any of you go back on your word or some shit, I'm going to pull this back out. I'm like, going to replay it over and over again, you know. But the thing about it is we all know we got bigger fish to fry. I'm like, we ain't got no fucking tournament in October. I'm still kind of pissed about that. You know, I'm not saying that it's anyone's fault or anyone's particular fault, but I'm still pissed that it's not happening because I was really looking forward to covering that event. I really did. You know, and I was going to be a good chance for us to get some exposure to people that are outside of the fighting game community. Get them see what it's like to see high tournament play, and just see the atmosphere, you know. And now that's not going to happen, at least not this year. That's
true. Yeah.
And you know,
Let me assure you that after I get off this radio, there will be no more animosity because that's the kind of person I am. Again, you know, I am willing to forgive anyone, but again, another thing that I want to emphasize is that I do not forgive the same mistake twice. But I'm trusting Jinmaster enough now to say that I will support his events. And just for the record, there is a tournament going on in October. It's going on in Virginia.
Elite.
Called C3, and they're trying to have it go in a LAN center. And yeah, it might be small right now, but I think if a lot of people come out for it, it might get bigger. So that's the one tournament we have in October.
Right.
By the way, there's a question for you, DSP. About ECC. You say, what about the organized undermining of ECC from the Guilty Gear scene? The push to go to Ohio instead. How do you feel about that? Is it the same, or is it just a pick and choose? You know, Tekken matters. You know, I guess he's trying to say that Guilty Gear scene did the same thing. What is that all about? I don't know what he's talking about, but.
All right, what he's talking about is, first of all, there's been a running joke with Guilty Gear between me and Guilty Gear players about how I say Guilty Gear players are faggots and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I don't really care about Guilty Gear players. I don't care what they look like or what they act like. I just care if the game is legitimate for a tournament scene, and it is legitimate for a tournament scene. I admit it. I've seen it played at high levels of Evolution, and I think it does deserve a scene. Now, what he's addressing, whoever Mike Boy is, he's addressing the fact that at ECC there was a major problem with Guilty Gear. And you know what? It's extremely similar to the situation that was going on with Tekken. Because it's not something that ECC is... Oh, is someone saying something?
Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. At ECC there was a problem with Guilty Gear because... Again, if ECC is a major tournament, it's not something that we start planning at the last minute. So back in like January, February of 2006, we're thinking, all right, what are we going to do about Guilty Gear? Because Guilty Gear was here last year, and we want to have it here again, but we don't know what to do. At that point, Guilty Gear XX was like the game that was still being played, and Guilty Gear XX Slash was about to be released for the Japanese PlayStation 2.
You must be talking about the year before because it's been out a while. You're not talking about this year. You're talking about a couple of years back.
Slash?
Slash
was released.
Oh, you said Slash. You said XX. You didn't say Reload. I'm going, what the heck? Okay, I understand what you said. Okay, go ahead. I misunderstood what you said.
I'm sorry. Again, I don't play Guilty Gear, so I feel like the fucking newbie talking about this shit. Okay. But you're right. Reload versus Slash. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right.
So, Reload was out, Slash was not out yet, and we were debating. It was actually me and Josh Wigfall, because again, we're the two people in charge of ECC this year, and we're like, what are we going to do about Guilty Gear? Because there's no guarantee that Slash is going to be out in time for ECC, and a lot of people are saying we want Guilty Gear, we want a guarantee of what's going to be there so we can start practicing. So I think it was about February or March when Wigfall and I kind of put down our foot and said, look, we're going to have Reload at ECC no matter what, because Slash is not guaranteed. It's definitely not guaranteed for the U.S. PlayStation 2. We don't know how many imported PlayStation 2s we're going to even have donated. I don't own any. Wigfall doesn't own any, and we don't have a buttload of money to go spend $200-300 a pop to buy these imported PlayStation 2s.
Mm-hmm.
So that was basically the state of things, and the Guilty Gear community went nuts on Shoryuken. Basically, they're like, oh, you guys don't care about Guilty Gear. We want Slash. We want the newest version. We're told it's going to be out in April or whatever. I don't even remember what month it was, but it was basically very, very similar to the argument of the Tekken players, saying that there was a new version of the game coming out, and we want to play the newest version no matter what in the tournament. And all I could remember was back to like ECC 6 or 7 or whatever ECC it was the first ECC I ever went to, where Marvel 2 had been released for the arcade for about 2 months, but ECC refused to have a tournament in Marvel 2 because they said the game is too new, we're not going to have enough copies of the game to have a major tournament, and it would be unfair to the players to have a Marvel 2 tournament. We're going to have a Marvel 1 tournament and a Marvel 2 Casuals cabinet that'll be on the entire time at ECC. And I kind of went back to that, and I said, you know what, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a Reload tournament, and we're going to have Slash. If people want to bring their stuff, if the game is released in time for ECC, we can do that. But basically people wanted to keep hating. They wanted to say bullshit. And then in addition to all of that, there was a side event that happened that had nothing to do with the games at all. Basically what happened was about a month before ECC, and this is kind of like information that has not been talked about on the radio before, Josh Wigfall, apparently, he got into some trouble or something in New York, and he got shot. He got shot in the shoulder. I mean, the kid was in the hospital for about a month. He barely got out in time to run ECC. And a lot of people were very upset about this. No one really knows the circumstances around it. And, a lot of people went out on SRK and they made a thread to Josh Wigfall and they said, we're very sorry about what happened. We don't know what really happened, but we hope you get well. We want you to run ECC. And I was one of the major proponents of that because I love Josh. I mean, Josh has been around since day one. We played Marvel 1 together back when the game was new. I mean, he's my boy. And a lot of people came out to support him, and then all of a sudden, one of the major players in the East Coast Guilty Gear community, who a lot of people know, his name is James Austin, he went out in that thread and he posted a post that basically said, oh, I hate Josh Wigfall. Josh Wigfall's an asshole. He talked shit about me 2 or 3 years ago at some tournament, and he called me a faggot or some bullshit. So fuck him, and I wish that he didn't get shot in the shoulder. I wish he had a bullet in the fucking head. And I saw that, and I was like, what the fuck? How can you possibly, as a human being, think that it's okay to make a post on any website saying that it's okay to shoot someone in the fucking head and wish that they were dead? And a lot of people, again, most of them were Street Fighter players, came out of the woodwork on SRK, because this is where this post was made, and said, what the fuck is wrong with you, James? You made a bad move. This is not the kind of post put on SRK. James got banned from SRK after about, 2 or 3 days after this post has basically gone on. Well, what James went ahead and did was he went to his dustloop.com website, which is the major website for Guilty Gear players, and he made a big post, fuck ECC, fuck DSP, fuck Josh Wigfall, they don't care about Guilty Gear, fuck all them, everyone should go to this Ohio tournament. Now, keep in mind, this Ohio tournament, I don't have any ill will towards the people who were actually organizing the Ohio tournament, because the Ohio tournament was already set to happen way before ECC, but it was just supposed to be some little local event for Guilty Gear Slash. Well, because of what James Austin said, all the major Guilty Gear players on the East Coast said, oh, fuck ECC, we're going to all go to Ohio instead. And it was kind of a slap in the face because person who we had recruited to run Guilty Gear at ECC, his name is Chaz, and he's actually from New York City. Well, after hearing all the drama and everything about this Ohio tournament, he actually decided to go to Ohio over ECC because he thought that the better comp was going to be in Ohio. So what kind of a slap in the face is that the person that you thought was the Guilty Gear expert who was going to run that game at ECC decided to go to a different tournament? So, a lot of people say that, it had to do with we don't like Guilty Gear and we didn't want Guilty Gear at ECC. You know what? We had Guilty Gear Slash at ECC. And you know what? For the singles tournament, it was only like 8 people short of the head count that showed up in Ohio. In Ohio, they had a singles tournament that had something like 40 people, and they had a team tournament that had like 50-something people. Well, at ECC, we had a singles tournament that had like 32 people, and people that basically said, fuck Ohio, you know what the bullshit is going on over there, and we'd rather go to a major established fighting game tournament that respects the players rather than a tournament that's being held and promoted under the premise that ECC staff hates Guilty Gear when we know that's not true. So I just want to say thank you to all the Guilty Gear players that came to ECC, including, the major players. I mean, you had Marnito and you had other people who basically teamed up to run this tournament out of the goodness of their hearts because they came to ECC and they saw the bullshit that was going on in Ohio, and they went ahead and said, you know what, we're going to go to ECC anyway because we know that's the better tournament. We're going to try to get this shit going. So thank you to all the Guilty Gear players who saw what happened, who read all the bullshit online and still showed up. I respect you immensely. And just for the record, I do not hate Guilty Gear. I might, talk silly shit about it at tournaments or whatever. But I know it's a good game. I know it's a tournament-worthy game. And I will support Guilty Gear, wherever. I sat through Guilty Gear finals 2 years in a row now at Evolution. So anyone who's trying to say that I hate on Guilty Gear, you guys are fucking idiots. You don't know shit. Just because I don't play a game doesn't mean that I don't like a game.
Who originally asked the question?
I'm sorry about that. I got a phone call myself. That Mike Boy asked that question, and wow, I didn't know all that happened. I mean, here's my
Fun guys give history lesson today.
No, I think that's very fucked up to say. That's very fucked up to say. You never. I don't care. Yeah. There is a certain decency that everyone is expected to have while you live on this planet. Wishing death on somebody for any reason, unless they did something like graphically horrible to you, which in this case it wasn't, that's wrong as two left shoes.
Yeah, he's got his feelings hurt.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. Because you know what? Josh Wickfall is cool. I don't know him as long as DSP has, but from what I know of him, he's been major cool. I mean, and that's just I don't know what to say other than that's incredibly messed up. You just don't do that, and it's a good thing that I wasn't around good thing that it wasn't said on the radio.
Yeah, I'll be straight with you. James Austin is lucky he's fucking alive today for what he said. Because a lot of people treat Josh Wickfall like a brother, and I'm one of them. And that was so fucked up. It was just uncalled for, man.
Yeah, that's definitely not right. But once again, I think, how old is James? Does anybody know?
Sorry, what was the question?
How old is he, James?
You know what? I've only heard bits and pieces about this character. Because people have said a lot of things about Jamie on James. I don't know. It says
don't call him Jamie. His name is James.
Okay. There's a lot of things about this person on the air, and I'm not sure.
No, but his name is James.
I was just getting that. Maybe he probably made a young person's mistake once again too. And not to say that what he did that was by far a lot worse than anything we've been talking about today. But, once again, hey, maybe the dude just got his feelings hurt and lashed out, and, maybe somebody needs to talk to him too.
James Austin is a very petty person. I know James Austin for a while back, probably 5 to 6 years. He's a Connecticut player. He lives in northern Connecticut. And he used to go to tournaments, and everyone used to say to him, dude, why do you act so effeminate? it's okay, you can admit that you're gay, we don't care. Like, people literally went up to his face and said, you can come out, we don't care, just don't hide in the closet. And he was like, no, I'm not gay, blah, 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 I like girls. And we're like, dude, whatever you say. And then I remember one day...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, DSP, but I still am fascinated. I mean, I'm just as guilty as anybody else just because I run a radio station and it comes up frequently. But I am amused that with a gaming, with a bunch of gaming community where there's 99% male and 99% heterosexual, that there's so much interest in what people who are perceived as gay do behind closed doors.
No one was talking about what he was doing behind closed doors.
I know, but people like, why care in the first place, though? If he doesn't want to admit it to himself, I mean, that's a really hard thing to admit. That, hey, I like the same sex, That's not an easy thing to admit. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't expect someone to say, you know what, yes, I am gay, I like to suck cock, and, and something. I mean, you just don't expect that. You just don't expect that. I mean, so it's not realistic. But hey, huh?
Hey, fun guy, all somebody has to do is cut that little part out of the radio station right now and keep playing that over with your voice. And they got...
Oh, no.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Stranger shit has happened, Well... I'll let that die. Go, you guys go ahead. I got something to take care of. You guys go back.
Well, I can tell you a little bit more about James if you want, because I've known him for a long time.
Cool.
No. I'm good. I think we're good on that.
You don't want to know anymore? Are you sure?
No, I'm good.
Hey, let me say something real quick. So I forget who said it. I don't know if it was you, Mike, or you, Phil, or you, Buckeye. Somebody was saying something about everybody on the East Coast getting together and doing, supporting each other's events. I think that's definitely a good idea. Well, why don't we get together and just do, one event a year, like all together? And how big would that be?
That's a good question.
Yep.
That's a good question. You know what? That's only a question only you three can answer.
Right. I think we should, and I'm not even saying this. I just thought of this second. But y'all know I have a venue that I can use in Atlanta. Definitely not trying to compete with you, Larry. If anything, I would definitely hold it on the opposite end of the year, maybe like another Labor Day type thing, whatever, if we were going to do that. But I have a venue there that I can use. I don't have to pay for it. I mean, my aunt owns it. I mean, it's 4,500 square feet, 2 floors. There used to be a club. I mean, pretty much that's where we did the CrunchCon event. Anybody that's been there knows it's legit.
Yep.
I mean, we can pretty much do it. I mean, with no overhead costs, that's ridiculous.
What was the deal with all those people talking shit about the CrunchCon event, saying that it was like in the ghetto and shit? Like, I don't know anything about Atlanta and where you held CrunchCon, but I didn't talk shit about that tournament, but crazy people came out talking shit.
Yeah, it was people that didn't know anything. The people the locals, the ones that did know, they can all tell you. I mean, first of all right, I'll give you a little history. The venue is on Bankhead Highway, which has been hyped on, by T.I. and a bunch of other people in the music and rap industry. It's got a bad rap. It used to be a very bad area. However, the name of the place is no longer Bankhead Highway. It's called Lee Hollow Parkway, and it's got a completely revamped image. I mean, the place is right off the highway. Anybody knows that if anything bad is going to happen, it's not going to be right there on the highway. It's going to be in what they call like trap zones and stuff like that, which is pretty much no way out. That's why they call it trap zones. Only one way in, you can't get out. That's how it goes. I mean, the place, it's right next to a barber shop, a food restaurant, a tax agency. I mean, it's in a what's it called, a strip mall. And, it's not a bad area. It's not the best area. Right, it's not the best area, But I mean that's no different than some of the events that go on in like DC and Philly and New York. And even like anybody that was at what's called Evo East knows that wasn't the best neighborhood around the surrounding hotel. Now I mean it's equivalent to that. Now what was going on was, once again, it was a Jinmaster effect. There's a guy, I'm not going to name any names because he and I pretty much squashed everything too. He came on and he talked to me about it, and I talked to Larry too. Pretty much they knew that Jinmaster was involved, so they started talking shit. That's all it was. Nothing even happened. I mean, that place is probably when me and Jinmaster and another friend of mine went up and down Bankhead Highway or Lee Hollywood Parkway, up and down, passing out flyers, talking. They were excited that somebody was doing an event there. That's it. No, there was no animosity. Nobody was talking about robbing, killing, none of that. We didn't even see anything like that. It was all cool. Everybody was cool. Oh, y'all doing a tournament? Yeah, I'm gonna come. That's what it was. It was all love, pretty much. And plus, my cousin, who was 36 years old, so people don't think it's some young guy, is the property manager there. Everybody knows him. No, it's like nobody's gonna disrespect Tony's spot. That's Tony's spot. No, but nobody disrespects Tony's spot. I mean, that's how it goes. So, if I can assure you that anything that goes on there will be safe and taken care of. There's nothing. Hello? Yeah, I even hired a security guard, which was pretty much a waste of money. But we hired armed security just in case people would feel safe. But and that was just a formality because I knew people were worried about it. But I mean, the place is safe. I mean, there's nothing going to happen there. I mean, they're revamping the whole neighborhood. Like, you can go 2 miles down the street and you're in complete Uppittyville. It's
I
really
remember
not about there.
I remember at Evolution 2002, they hired security guards, and there were like 5 of them, and it was the biggest waste of money ever. They just fucking walked around and didn't do shit. It was so funny.
I mean, the security guard there was sitting down playing Madden. That's how unnecessary he was. I mean, he was just sitting there talking to people, annoying people because he thought he, was the best thing since sliced bread on Madden. But I mean, that's all he was good for was freaking comedy and shit.
Well, that's good. It's good to hear that, all the bullshit that I heard on SRK was just bullshit. Because I was reading that and I was like, come on now, Damon's a smart guy. Why would he hold a tournament in an area that's like the super ghetto where people are going to get fucked up? And that was just dumb. And if people were just saying that because of the Jinmaster effect, I think that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
The Jinmaster effect. Like the X body spray.
Damn.
My own body spray.
Man, that's
Dude, there's been DSP effect has been in effect for like 3 or 4 years, ever since I made the video that basically says, fuck Mr. Wizard and fuck the cannon. So, don't feel bad. It's nothing new.
Right.
Yeah. But, I mean, like I said, I think a lot of things have been squashed. I think, Jinmaster definitely has some talking to do to a lot of people. And pretty much people need to see that he's pretty much turned over a new leaf or whatever. I think the fact that you guys got together here today and apologize, I think that will have a big effect on the community. A lot of people see that he's not just some, punk that's interested in fucking everything up for everybody, because he wouldn't get on radio and just apologize like that. I mean, as you know, nobody had to call him. He got on the radio and apologized. So
I really do respect it. That's fucking amazing.
I was supposed to get $50 for that. Oh, never mind. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Actually, Mike Boy wants to get on the line. Hold on for 1 sec. All right, hold on. Let's see here.
Hey, Bunkeye.
What's up, man?
What's your ratings look like right now?
Right now, we got about 20 people listening. So, hey, you on AlphaISM Radio?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Mike Boy, aka Shadow Charlie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm hearing crazy echo right now.
What about right now?
You still hearing an echo?
Yeah, ever since Mike Boy got on, I hear a crazy echo.
All right. Does anyone else hear an echo?
No, I don't.
Jinmaster? Jen?
I think he's gone.
He fell asleep. So Mike, say something again.
Yeah. What about now? Do you have an echo right now?
No, now the echo's gone. All right, it's cool.
All right, cool. Well, the thing I wanted to, really talk to or DSP about or whatever, but the reason I really brought up the Guilty Gear thing was, first of all, I didn't know the whole situation, and, I wanted to know what was really going on with it, and, that was the main reason. The secondary reason about it was, I'm from Louisiana or whatever, and whenever you hear about ECC, you really, what most people picture outside of, East Coast or whatever is like, oh, I was going to play some Marvel, you know what I'm saying? Like a big Marvel tournament. And I know that, y'all want to make a bigger tournament all around. And you want to add second and all this stuff, but like the question I'm wondering is, I guess it's the same thing I got brought up earlier was, is that the tournament that should be happening, or should there be just a combination, of all the East Coast tournaments and just one big tournament, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's an interesting question, because that's something that Fee actually has talked to me about. I'll be honest, Fee was very angry with me with ECC this year because he said, look, you're not having Tekken, and Guilty Gear is going to be small because of the bullshit that's going on. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because Fee is a very straightforward guy, and he basically told me straight up, look, when I ran ECC, this tournament was trying to incorporate as many gaming communities into this tournament as possible, and you went ahead and basically isolated these people. Oh, excuse me. Ugh, too much
right, but
beer.
you agree that there's a heavy Marvel undertone for ECC, right?
Say that again?
You agree that there's a pretty heavy undertone of Marvel for ECC overall right now, as it stands, I guess.
It's funny because everyone says that ECC is a Marvel-only tournament, but after this ECC, all I heard was, oh, Marvel Control sucked because Marvel was only on cabinet, but CVS 2 and Third Strike were really good because they were on console. And that's kind of funny because he was totally against having any console tournaments at ECC. He told me that I should have Third Strike and CVS 2 on cabinet. So I don't know about that. I'm the kind of guy that a couple years ago when EVO went to pure console, I was totally against it. But now that I've played on console for like 3 or 4 years, I support it. I play on my own joystick, I play on a Hori stick, and I can't play on anything else. So if I go to a tournament that's all cabinet, I can't play on a fucking Perfect 360 anymore, I admit it. I suck, I can't even block. I play Marvel and I get raped because I get snapped out and I get fucked up. But a lot of players were getting fucked up at ECC because of that factor, I think. I don't know why people still think that ECC is the Marvel tournament. Probably because New York is kind of a Marvel, center for the nation, actually. And New York is kind of the place where Yipes, Josh Wickfall, Justin Wong, everyone came out of New York. Sanford Kelly. Everyone thinks that New York is this big hotbed for Marvel. But, then again, you look, and did Sanford go to ECC? No. So I don't know if people can really say that ECC is a Marvel-only tournament, especially after this year when we tried to make CVS 2 and Third Strike legitimate tournaments, to try to get out of that stigma that it's only a Marvel tournament.
Let me ask you guys a question. Can I ask a question right quick? Since I got you, Jinmaster, and I got Damon on the line, you guys mentioned earlier about consolidating. I think wouldn't it be easier to consolidate your efforts into one big tournament? And because wouldn't that be easier to get sponsorship if you ever decide to go that route?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Because think about it, and I'm not saying, and I think if you guys do something like that, it should be a totally different name than the one that's used in the past. So it doesn't look like it's one particular group or person's tournament. Like if you guys collaborate and I do a huge tournament, it should have a completely new name.
Yeah.
Damn, I got.
Well, I know, like Dame said, he's always trying to work on stuff to make things big for the community, and I'm sure, we can meet DSP and we can all put something together. But I mean, that's the overall plan.
I think we need to, man. I mean, honestly, if we think about it, I mean, Evo doesn't need to be the only big event in the community.
Exactly.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to say we have to come up with something that rivals Evo. I mean, but I'm not saying it's out of the possibility that we could, because it can only help the gaming community if you all pool our resources, make one giant tournament, and to have because I mean, look, nothing is impossible when you put your heads together. You can come up with some very creative solutions. The Cannons did it, without them actually even running the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you guys can do it because you guys actually run the tournament. So I'll say this much: if you guys do a tournament, if you guys do a tournament together, I will A, cover it for you on radio. B, I will set it up to do a live stream. C, I'll buy the domain for you, and D, I will actually host a website for you.
That's an offer.
That's pretty cool.
That's what's up, man.
It really has to do with Fee, because Fee is the kind of the driving force of the East Coast Street Fighter community over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been the person that kept ECC alive and kept the tournament at the break alive. And even though that me and Josh took it over last year, Fee pretty much made it clear to me at Evolution that he wants to run ECC again next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that myself and Jinmaster and Damon, we should make an active effort to talk to Fee and see what's going on with ECC next year and to be a part of that and make it as big as it could possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I will do all that for you. And hey, like I said, I got friends too. I mean, like on the technical aspect of it, because you guys, we always talking about doing live streams, for tournaments and shit like that. Not to say we try to make a profit off of it, but at least enough to cover the expenses of it. And maybe soon it'll bloom into a company. Because to think about it, if we were to do it that way, we consolidate our efforts, we get a live stream, that makes it very, very attractive for sponsors. If this dude got McDonald's to do it, and that tournament won't be nearly as big if what happens if you guys get it all together.
Right.
I mean, the sky's the limit on that.
Right.
You mean, because you guys, it's interesting. You guys have enough influence within your group of people that you hang around with and you have friends with, that you can create something, together that rivals Evolution. And again, it's not really a rivalry thing. It's just, something else. I mean, because it just gives gamers more opportunities, give them more exposure, and then just like, hey, it's just the law of numbers. More tournaments, more big name tournaments means that sponsors will pay more attention. It means more exposure.
Right.
It's funny because a couple of years ago, probably about the time when Fee was taking over ECC from Todd Dwyer, we all went to a diner right after ECC and we sat down. It was me, Todd, Fee, and a whole bunch of East Coast people, including like Rob Sigley and, a lot of East Coast players. And we kind of planned out what would an East Coast Evolution look like. And we had so much better ideas than what Evolution is doing right now. There's like 10 things off the top of my head that I could list, but I'm not going to throw it out there because people are going to fucking steal it and copy it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is we've never had the resources to do it. I feel that like if a lot of people pooled their resources together, East Coast could do so much better than Evolution. But unfortunately, Evolution's been doing so much better over the past couple of years just because of the money they've had to throw into their tournament series. We really haven't been able to get anything large together. So.
Yeah. But you understand something though. All right, here we go again. It's true. Maybe they got the money to get it done. But let me tell you something. I've seen the cars that some of these people in Capcom are driving. Somebody got money. I think these people. I mean, one particular like Rob Sigley. This dude was about to put $10,000 on Sanford if anyone was going to match that for Evo. Hey, I think he might be persuaded. I'm not saying him in particular, but there are people might be persuaded to part with their money if they see that it's going for a cause. You know what I'm saying? Make an investment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, you guys know a lot of people, and my phone is ringing. I'll be back.
Damn.
What the hell? Right in the
I
middle
agree
of
with you. I mean, DSP, what you said. I mean, in my opinion, East Coast has a way bigger fighting game community than the West Coast. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's true too.
I mean, we have big tournaments like all across the East Coast, up and down, New York, New Jersey, up and down. I mean, and I mean, honestly, LA and California, not to say nothing bad about them, but they haven't been really running tournaments the past year or two. Not like they used to back in the day.
Hey, you know, it's funny because on this radio station, we're talking about all the tournaments that are coming up, and it's been like Digital Life, Digital Life, Digital Life, but what about normal West Coast tournaments? No one's heard about any local West Coast tournaments. We're talking about, you know, all through September there was like 3 or 4 East Coast tournaments. Now there's a TGA tournament coming up on September 30th. There's a tournament in Virginia, you know, in October. Well, what about the West Coast? I haven't heard anything about the West Coast. It's like they're falling off, and the East Coast is a lot, you know, more organized than the West Coast. It's kind of the flip side of what it was a couple years ago.
Right.
Well, we'll do some tournaments over there then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. But you know, hey, I think, like I said, that offer stands. I mean, it's recorded. It stands. You guys get it. You guys get it done. I'll buy the domain. I'll host it for you. I'll put the form on there for you.
And they said you know some technical people too to do some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, it's not all that complicated to do. It really isn't. And so, it's just a matter of just getting our heads together and getting it done, and not just talk about it.
Hey Bunker, how mobile are you, man? How often can you get out and get your equipment and everything that you need to do a live feed?
I only heard the first part. You said how mobile am I and where and what?
How easy is it, and how often would you be able to get up and go to an event or whatever to cover it?
Now that I really couldn't answer, because right now, I mean, I'm in a transition stage. You know, I've been unemployed for about a month now, and I'm got the drug test tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully, you know, if it's, you know, far enough in the future in advance, I can just get time off work, you know,
right.
and, you know, I can just, you know, if it's for a major tournament, you know, I'm trying to make sure that I'll get down at least to Evo next year, you know, to do the radio live from there instead of just covering it from home.
I was gonna say, I mean, you know, if you're in Texas, right?
No. I'm in Seattle, actually.
Seattle.
Oh, you're in Seattle. Okay, never mind.
Damn, like that?
Yeah, no, not like that, man. I mean, I thought it was a lot closer than, because we got some events coming up.
What's wrong? You don't like long distance relationships? Yeah.
Actually, man, I'm not averse to that, but no, what I'm saying is, you know, we got like you said, the C3 thing is coming up, run by Renegade, and then you know, we got an event coming up. I'm trying to do another one in Atlanta in November. We got we got an event coming up at the end of October, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's one going on in North Carolina at the end of January.
All right.
So I would say is, you know, if you wanted to, I mean, these are things that we're going to start collaborating, like everybody, you know, everybody come out and just support each other's events.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, because, like, look, as far as the tournament's concerned, I'll cover the tournaments. I'll promote them every day on the radio. I mean, you know, and if anyone is there is willing to call in and do a play-by-play like, you know, like Skisonic did for Evo, I mean, that'd be great. You know, I mean, that worked out really good, you know. And,
right.
I mean, hey, I'll be willing to do that for you.
Okay, and then even if it comes down to, you know, me having somebody designated to get the phone so they can cover it like you did with Evo, I was listening that whole time. And you had to pass the phone around to different people and get people to call in and tell you what's going on.
That's right. Nah, that was freaking hectic, but it was fun as hell, though. It was fun as hell.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm sitting there laughing. I'm sitting there, you know, it's called playing Magic online, man. I'm sitting there. I couldn't, because I wanted to listen, and so I had to be by the computer, so I was like, man, let me find something to do while I'm listening. So I'm sitting there listening.
Yeah, I mean,
I was mad because I was mad I couldn't go because, as you know, I paid for that whole tournament, so which meant I couldn't afford to pay for myself to go.
You know what's kind of what's kind of interesting though? I forgot about one thing, and that's TSN Central. I don't think I ever told you about that. TSN Central, huh?
Go ahead.
TSNCentral.com. think of it as ESPN, but for for video games. They want to add a fighting game, segment to their website, and they want to put the radio show on there.
Well, that's cool.
And so when this guy gets back from China and London, I'm supposed to have an interview with the head honcho there, and we'll see how it goes. And he said that if this goes through, I mean it'll be a lot of exposure for the fighting game community, because one of the guys' name is Matt Kraft. He's actually a Tekken fan, believe it or not. And he's I guess he talked to a few people up in the ranks, and they agreed that that there should be something for console gaming, specifically fighting games, because he feels that's the next big wave to ride. So we'll see. By the way, I think it's absolutely obscene how much money that is available for these Dead or Alive tournaments. I mean, that's damn. I wish they'd do that for like some Marvel. I mean, lucky you get $500,000, $100,000 for Dead or Alive. That's fucking ridiculous. That's all I gotta say about that.
It made me want to pick the game up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, hey man, what was it? Let me see how much pot I gotta sell before I can get myself a next X360 here and shit, But no, I'm just kidding. But shit, man, I was like, that's insane. No disrespect on the Dead or Alive game, just in case anyone's listening. I disrespect on the game. I just think it's obscene the amount of money they offer for these damn.
Yeah, if it's a new game, then that's the thing. But hey fellas, I'm sorry to cut out, man. But I gotta get up early in the morning. It's like almost 12 here.
Oh, all right then, man.
But I appreciate the time. Let me get on and talk. Like I said, man,
what the hell?
Another sabotage. Anyway.
All right, I'm about to get off too.
All right then.
All right, like I said, I'll be back on.
Hey man, I don't know if you can hear me, but thanks a lot for being honest tonight, man. And I appreciate you getting Jinmaster on here to squash this shit. It's going on too long, and we need to fucking team up to make the East Coast big, man.
Hey, whatever. That's all good, man. Like I said, if the fighting game community needs a PR agent, y'all can call on me.
All right, that's good. That's good. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, man. And again, hopefully we'll be talking again soon. You're welcome to the radio station anytime that you want, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. You have a good night.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah. All right.
Peace out, guys.
All right. Well, that was.
Yeah, I told you, not talking about digital life would be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you were just gonna go that way with him. I mean, I was kind of taken aback by that, but like I said, it all ended up good. Got some beef squash tonight, and now we can move forward to more important things.
By the way, if you're really worried about, getting the major tournaments, like I would say probably the next major tournament that you might want to get is maybe final round. I'm sure that people will come out of the woodwork to get you there. If you can figure out a way to webcast from there, people will get you there. It's not hard to get money from the community if you can justify it, and this radio station has done a lot since it came out, right before EVO, and I think a lot of people would be willing to donate to get you to a major Street Fighter event. So I don't think you have anything to worry about, man.
Well, that would be extremely generous. If on the webcasting thing, I got some ideas. There's going to be people helping me, even within the Street Fighter community, that's going to help me with this. And it is possible. I'll say that much. It is possible. It's just a matter of the location. That's all it really matters to. Because some people have talked about how could I do it wirelessly, and wirelessly would work, but boy, you'd be missing so many frames. You'll see the beginning frame of the opening round, and you see the ending frame of somebody dead. But, that's how it is. Wireless technology as far as broadband hasn't really come along all that far. But if there's like someone had a connection to like DSL or cable, then it's really easy to do it. It's really, really, really easy. So, but it's like if if for Final Round 9, I use that as an example. If I find out that there's a broadband connection somewhere and I can just run an extra long cord to one of their routers for the DSL or cable, whatever they use, oh, that'd be all good. But
Bunk, if I could say something real quick, since you're talking about Final Round,
what's up?
I just wanna plug, everybody plug their own coaster. If you can make it out to Showdown, which I think happens either right after or maybe before Final Round, I'm not sure of the dates. I know that where they're having it this year is going to be crazy, and I know for a fact they have a hard line running there, just to address that one fact.
Where is Showdown happening at?
Showdown happens in Houston every year. I think one year they did it in Austin. I want to say 2 years ago, maybe. Maybe 3 years. I'm not sure.
What time? What time of the year? I mean, where are we talking about?
I'm trying to see. I think it happens. Let me see.
I'm pretty sure it's going to happen in April this year.
Yeah.
They're switching with Final Round. Final Round is usually in April, and Texas Showdown is usually in March. But they usually agreed to flip them this year.
Yeah. So it's going to be after Final Round, and it's our little southern version of what Atlanta's doing out there. I guess been getting big. We have a lot of Japanese come. Japanese.
But something for you got to think about. Hey, if TSN picks up the radio station, then you have to worry about me getting out there and getting the footage and all that.
And make sure that I don't know about TSN or whatever. I know how the little game channels are right now and everything. Make sure they don't edge you out whenever they pick up the concept. Make sure they don't drop some douchebag down and some girl in a cutoff dress instead to host it. You know what I'm saying?
Is there something wrong with a girl with a cutoff dress?
Come on, man. If Morgan Webb starts doing fucking radio casts from fucking Evolution, I'm not gonna complain, man.
I mean,
the girl can stay, you know what I'm saying? But, they need to have somebody that knows what the hell is going on,
Well, they wouldn't do that because, it's like, if this is fighting games, you don't put hi, we're here at the fucking Evolution. We're here to...
you'd be surprised at the first thing out there, though. You'd be surprised,
you do that shit for, sports games and shit like that. Like, they get away with that on Monday Night Football when they have ladies doing the sportcast, they don't know no shit about football. But, I don't think that's going to work. Oh, that's Josh Wickfall over there? You know what? I want to go talk to him. I heard that he's got a bullet wound the size of Kansas. Let me go talk to him. I just don't see that. I don't see that really, really working. I really don't.
Hey, Bunkhead, one thing I have to say is that you really have a voice for radio. Like, your voice really picks up well on the radio, and I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people come back to listen to AlphaISM radio every night. So I think you do really well, regardless of what radio station you're on. I think you still do pretty well. Even if somebody picks you up,
actually, people was calling me to be replaced, actually. When I have Matt on here, people are like, fuck Bunk. You haven't heard Matt. If you go download the interview that I have Matt Kraft on the station and listen to him talk, the dude is a natural. The dude's the dude blows me out the water.
The guy from TSN, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, the dude was a fucking natural.
That guy sounded like someone had a dick up his ass the whole fucking time. I couldn't stand listening to him. He was so fake.
No, I don't think he was fake. I think that's generally how he talks, and I just think he's got a talent for it, So
if that's how he talks, that's what's even the most picked on person in his fucking high school, and I feel sorry for him.
It's one of those things where I don't know. I hope this whole TSN Central happens. I talked to Matt a little bit about it, and the one thing that people were worried about is, will I keep creative control over the radio?
Yeah, that's the important thing, really.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. He says yes, and I'm going to reiterate that when we have the conversation, that we're going to make sure that it's still my radio station. It's not. It's going to be AlphaISM Radio. Partnering with TSN Central. It's not TSN Central Radio. It is AlphaISM Radio on TSN Central partners.
Better be your fucking radio. Fuck that.
Because I don't want you guys tuning in one night and then be just like, You're just gonna get some. You're gonna get Becky again. Hi, welcome to Alpha. Oh no, TXN Central Radio. And tonight we're going to talk to Duke Dow. Is that how you pronounce his name? Duke? Oh, it's Doug. Oh.
Yeah, like fucking Colin Quinn and fucking like Jennifer Lopez talking on the radio. You're like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I mean, I can like, I don't think that's gonna happen. And, you know, and the thing about it is, you know, if you know, the thing about it is that I've already got the name. Like AlphaISM, that's my name. I had a trademark.
It's a trademark for real?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, this is about 2 weeks after the radio began, and at first it was known as SRK Radio, and I really didn't like that because I don't want anything said on the radio to be reflective off of them, you know, for obvious reasons. Right. So when people start, you know, referring to as AlphaISM Radio, because like people call me every day now, it's kind of, man, I kind of feel like how celebrities are, man, getting phone calls from random people every day, you know, and I mean, like, I just make sure that, so if anything, even if we were to part ways with TSN Central, I still keep the name, so they can't. So
it's definitely a good thing.
Hillary Banks, yeah. You listen to AlphaISM Radio with Hillary Banks. Yeah, that's some fucked up shit.
I have to give it to you because I'll be honest, I had the idea to do a radio stream like before ECC, and I did not capitalize on it because I'm a lazy fat fuck. You had the idea, you did it, and you fucking made it succeed. You have all the top players on this shit every day. This is a really good radio station. You know, I talk shit about it on the channel, but whatever, man.
By the way,
the timing was great for it.
I forgot to announce this, but I guess this time I'm going to be trying to interview. His name is Dory Monson. He's the host of Cairo 710 Cairo in Seattle. It's the most listened to radio station in Seattle.
Huh.
And the thing about it is, I told him in an email that he gave me the idea to do the radio because he was talking about a subject. I forgot what the subject matter was. And he called in, and I called in and gave my opinion, and he was like, dude, you're really cool. Like, you got a knack for this. You got a knack for having debates and discussions and shit, you know. That's when I actually came, that same day, I came home and decided to try to do this radio thing. So I sent him an email and let him know, it's like, would he mind being on my radio instead of the other way around? And we'll see how that works out. Because if anything, if he just mentions my radio on the air, oh shit. That would be
Dude,
nice.
you should try, honestly, you should try to get on Howard Stern for like 5 seconds. If you even get the fucking
dude
web
would
address.
insult the shit out of me. He's gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How come you don't have any fucking kids? How come you're not married? Are you gay? I mean, how come you play fucking video games at
So answer the questions and give your website and you'll be straight. Have like fucking 20,000 people hit the fucking website in one day. That's fucking worth it, man.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can see. I mean, he'll probably grill the shit out of me just because, you know. Okay, let me get this right. Right. You live alone, and you run a radio station out of your house. You're not married. You're unemployed. You was about to lose your apartment. There's something wrong here. You know, I can see him. I'm like, meanwhile, I got $1 billion deal with Sirius Satellite.
Dude.
You know,
it's not $1 billion deal. It's only $500 million.
I'm
Stop
sorry,
fucking
500 million. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Yeah, I'm sorry. $500 million. You know, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind being on Howard Stern, but we won't have very much to talk about because we're on opposite end of the fucking spectrum. I mean, the dude would be
shit up.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you know one of the things I learned in the car business is fake it till you make it. I'll just be talking on my ass. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm Republican. Yeah, I voted for Bush. My pubic hair Bush, yeah.
Tell them you're like the most listened to radio station on the East Coast and make up some bullshit statistic of how many people listen to you because there's nothing on the internet to really test how many people listen to anything. So there's nothing he can say to prove it or disprove it.
That would be kind of fun. Oh, well, he could. If anybody is web savvy, they can go to shoutcast.com because my radio station is available on there, on Shoutcast. because it keeps
Oh,
tabs.
come on. You really think that Fred or Gary from the Howard Stern Show are web savvy?
I don't know.
They don't know shit, man.
I've never listened to the show. I don't know. You seem like, you know what? The thing about it is, DSP, you should go on Howard Stern.
What am I going to say?
Go on Howard Stern
my radio station, man. I definitely don't have a radio voice. I know my voice is mad high pitched and I sound, annoying on the radio. So you need to be the person to get on there, man.
No. But see, both of you got something in common. Both of you have drama, all around you, and you guys be perfect. You guys be perfect. You're like, just go on Howard.
It doesn't matter how much drama you have. If you sound like a fucking annoying bitch, no one wants to listen to you. You have to have a radio voice to really get popular. That's what everyone's found out. There's been a lot of personalities on the radio, but no one wants to listen to them for more than like 10 seconds, and I know my voice sucks. And I had a really good idea. I was going to make, hate radio, and I was going to do a webcast, and, whatever. And I don't want to do it anymore because a lot of people told me my voice is mad annoying, so why the fuck would I bother with that if no one's going to listen because it sounds so annoying?
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, I hope that you guys do get together. Like, you get together with, Damon and Jinmaster and other people to, like, make a huge tournament. Like I said, I wasn't bullshitting when I said that. That offer is up. Let me know what name you guys choose for the freaking, tournament. I'll register for it. I'll take care of all the technical aspects, the web aspects of it.
Yeah. It'll be ECC, trust me, because Fee has a lot of really good ideas for ECC this year. I mean, he's going to run the traditional ECC at the break, but he also has really, really big aspirations for something else outside of that. I don't want to really spoil anything right now, but, it's going to be really big. It's going to be evolution size, and I think that 2007 is really going to be the year where the East Coast breaks out of the shell.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but unfortunately, I think East Coast Championships is already registered, though.
What's already registered?
Let me see if it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on for a sec.
It doesn't have to be called East Coast Championships, man. There's like 20 million names we could use.
No, but just for simplicity purposes.
Yeah, we don't need simplicity. You know that me or Jinmaster, we should hype up any tournament.
Okay.
I go to fucking supposed to have like 10
EastCoastChampionships.com is reserved. Oh shit.
Huh?
Good to know. Yeah, EastCoastChampionships.com is registered. I'd like to see who's registered it. Eastern Arabian Horse Show. Wow.
What?
That's what it says, registrant. Eastern Arabian Horse Show and East Coast Championships. Okay, I guess we can't use that. Okay.
You gotta be kidding.
No. Well, I'll send you the link if you want me to.
EastCoastChampionships.com is owned by GoDaddy, and it's free, according to this.
No, GoDaddy is the registrar. You
Right.
scroll down to the registrant, as in the company, the entity, or the person that registered. It's going to say Eastern Arabian Horse Show.
Where does it say that?
You have to scroll all the way down. Well, I don't know what site you're using, but
I see the fine print. It doesn't say that on my screen, anyway.
okay, hold on. I'll post it in RC. Hold on. That's kind of messed up. Okay,
Fucking GoDaddy. What the fuck, man?
registrant. Eastern Arabian Horse Show.
Oh my god, man. Hold on. Well, ECC.com is not bought. It's owned by some company, but they didn't have anyone buy it out yet, so maybe that's possible. Or we could totally rename it. I mean, back in, 2003? We were throwing around the idea of a tournament on the East Coast, and we were calling it Impact. So I'm sure we can do a variation of that.
As long as you don't call it maximum impact, I won't have a problem.
No, fuck you.
Or second impact, for that matter.
Don't call it double impact either, because that was a terrible movie.
Second impact. We'll call it third impact. Then we're straight.
That's too close to third strike.
How about fourth explosion of skill?
Too long. Yeah.
Whatever.
No,
I'm sure
no,
between
I'm
many people will think up of a good name. Problem isn't the good name. The problem is the financing right now, because we all have really good ideas. We know what we want to do. We know what we should do to make it better than Evo, but we don't have the money to do it. So if someone has a really smart idea of how to raise money, please message me, or please message Fee, or please message somebody who can do something with it.
Well, I think the answer is just right in front of your face with the whole, on MRC, the poker. You gotta play the odds, bro. You gotta play the odds.
I even had an advertisement for Impact, because when I started my old website in 2003, it was called tophaters.com, and everyone basically went to this stupid website, even though it was really dumb. It was just to take attention away from the West Coast players, but I had a picture that said, Impact, coming in 2004. And I blatantly stole a picture from that movie Impact with, where the meteor hit the Earth. And everyone was like, what the fuck, man? Why'd you have to make why'd you have to make the Earth get destroyed for fighting tournament?
What about, yeah, I mean, maybe this is already a game name, named this, but what about Fighters Impact Championships?
Man, too many words. It either needs to be really technical, East Coast Championships. It's
That's
a lot of
words,
but it makes sense.
Or
you need one or two catchphrases that really takes everyone.
Fighters Impact then.
Huh?
Fighters Impact.
Private Impact?
Fighters Impact.
Fighters Impact. That's
Fighters.
okay. I bet out of all the issues that we face, this will be the hardest one. What's the name of the tournament?
Or you can call it Genesis, like the start of something new.
Nah. Too basic, used way too many times.
But I like Fighters
we should use
Impact better.
We should use this opportunity, listeners, to start saying what they think the title of the East Coast Major should be. Or even, have them call in, or have us thread on SRK or something about it. I think this is a really good topic.
Yeah, people send me your ideas. I mean, I like Fighters Impact. I think that's pretty cool. No, Fist of the South Star will not do. Jeez, people.
Yes. If you only want people from the South to show up, use that name.
No, the Borg won't work. What the hell?
How about George Bush rules the world?
Too accurate. Kill, rape, destroy. I think
Bush
it's
is
already
the world.
registered. Yeah.
Yeah, kill, rape, destroy.
Too bad that.
Good job, bro.
You know what? The thing about it is, it's too bad that Fighter's Destiny is already the name of the game, because I actually like that name.
You know what? I have the perfect name for not only a tournament, but also I wanted to make a reality series last year, and I took a lot of video footage at a lot of local tournaments and a couple other tournaments like NEC last year, and I really wanted to make this into a successful free internet reality series, but I never did. So this is the name I'm going to use. I'm not going to disclose it tonight because I think it's a really, really, really good name for a tournament or a series. But I have something up my sleeve that I think everyone will like.
Fist of the East Coast.
Fist of the East Coast was the name that, excuse me, Triforce wanted. Triforce Jinmaster from Empire wanted to give ECC 2 years ago. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, because he threw some money at at CC, and if he accepted the money, he was like, oh, let's call it Fists of the East Coast. And people were like, you know what? As long as this tournament tells us to break, it's going to be called ECC, so go fuck yourself. And I think that was one of the reasons why the Empire did not sponsor ECC last year.
Someone said new rival.
Okay. The trial
of Retribution? What the heck?
The ultimate showdown, ultimate destiny.
Mortal Kombat? No. Hey. With the C? No. Mortal Kombat will not do.
The face-off of faggots with fairy dust sprinkled on top.
Fighters United. That's not bad. Although, you know what? Although, you know what? If someone said Evolution, 6 years ago, they'd been like, what? Huh? So people originally got used to it.
My name for the tournament in 2003 was Devolution. I thought that was good because it was like the anti-evolution on the East Coast.
Gaming destination is too broad. I'm sorry. Gaming destination is too broad. Because we want fighters somewhere in the topic.
That's true. You want a name that attracts people, and then they think, oh man, this is a strong event. This is an event with a lot of strong people. You want to drive the event, but at the same time, it's not like super geeky.
No, we can't use Kumatai. I think that's registered. Like, I think someone probably.
How about Mash Masters 2007? Finest KO? No, that is already taken.
Yeah, Finest KO is already taken, and that would have been a cool name, though.
Yes, Japanegro, I did have a trailer for Devolution. It is the most infamous Street Fighter video ever released. I had my website shut down because so many people downloaded it and they exceeded my bandwidth, and it will never be on the net again.
Fighters Clash? Oh.
Yes, Warrior's Dreams. Warrior's Wet Dreams, that's a better one.
Fighters USA? I guess that kind of works. Some people suggested that we should drop the East derivative because we want people to come from all over.
Yeah, if you put East or any kind of East Coast in it, you gotta expect that more East Coast people will show up just because of it. I mean, that could be a good thing and a bad thing. It depends on what we want to accomplish with this tournament. Well, fucker's ball? That's a good idea.
What?
And no, we'll have to do with team hate or hate because if you put the word hate in the title, nobody will show up and doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Right, that's like an inside joke.
Yeah.
People wouldn't get it. And, before you know it, you got the Ku Klux Klan coming up there. Because DSP, you do look like an atypical Klansman.
What?
How you do? If you shave your head, it's not just you. Tempest is the same way. That dude looks frightening, man. He shaved his head. I'm like, dude, are you gonna burn me on the cross if I come near your house?
Dude, I have all my teeth. Okay.
Point taken. Well, point taken.
Rumblefish. That's a
The
bad.
final countdown. The final countdown. No, we can't use that song, by the way. No, we can't use Revolution either because that's too close to Evolution, and plus, we don't know if Nintendo might have a problem with that.
There's so many possibilities. I mean, we could be there for a week debating it. It's so hard. Like, how do you put your name on it? How do you put your finger on the name of a tournament, and how do you make it so that it represents what you want it to represent? It's so hard.
I still like. No, foot jobs is not gonna work. Peanut butter toe is not gonna work either, and you can't use whale jobs either.
You know, when Evolution chose their name, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Evolution," and then they went to Evolution 2002, and you know, single match Marvel finals and a lot of bullshit going on. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this isn't Evolution. This is a step back." So a lot of people were even weary to accept the Evolution name for a couple of years until they proved themselves with the premier fighting game tournament in the world.
I think you can name it Kuta Kinte. I mean, if it's got a good reputation, then the name becomes. Look at Nintendo Wii. Remember how people stated when Nintendo announced the name for the system? Now people they take their name. We are very amused.
Uh-huh.
You know, we are great. You know.
A lot of people accept the system because they know it's going to have a lot of good games, but everyone knows that name still. If it wasn't Nintendo, nobody was going to buy that system. If that was like some third-party company that no one ever heard of, buy the fee.
Yo, you're on AlphaISM Radio. Who's this?
Yeah, it's Triforce. I want to ask DSP one question and then I have a suggestion.
Oh, God.
Okay, hold on. I can barely hear you, Triforce.
Oh, my fault. I said I would like to ask DSP one question and then I have a statement to make.
Okay.
The first question is, around what figure are they looking for, him and D looking for ECC next year?
What do you mean by figure? Do you mean head count? Do you mean, like, money-wise?
No,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, money-wise. Because you had asked, you said, is anyone who can help do something for ECC? So I'm just trying to figure out how much are you talking about?
Well, if you want to talk about ECC in 2007, you want to talk to Fee. Like I said before, Fee pretty much made it clear he's taking control of this tournament in 2007. I don't want to be stupid and try to talk out of my ass because I don't know what he's really looking for, if he even wants sponsorship from any known, group. So that's the person you want to talk to.
Okay. All right, that was it. And the suggestion that I wanted to make for the fighting game tournament was, what about Fighter's Spirit?
Fighter's what?
Fighter's Spirit.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the second word.
Spirit sounds good, but at the same time, a lot of people, when they hear spirit, they think of religion. I don't want people thinking that like gaming is a religion. You know what I mean?
No, we're just fanatics. That's all.
That was
Fighter Spirit. Actually, you know what? That could work. But you have to understand that all these names that we throw out here, except for the foot job ones, they all can work because it's over. It's right now. It's being really overanalyzed. Because like Evolution. That's not really a big thing. It's not a really big thing to be known by. Just like, E3. I guess E3 is a little bit grandiose, but even then they kind of capped it at E3. It's known as E3, not even an Electronic Expo Expedition or whatever it's called anymore. So Fighter Spirit, okay, I'll put that down. I got that down with let's see. I like to put the word fighters in it because we want to make people know that this is a fighting game tournament. To get people so people know what to expect. So I don't like to use like a too generic of a term. I think that's one of the problems with Evolution is because Evolution, what's the first thing that pop in your head? Okay, or we're going to see primates playing games. And you're gonna see Neanderthals or what? You know, I mean, the evolution does not envision, you know, the name doesn't envision what it actually represents. But now it's a moot point because people know what evolution is. But I would like to see, you know, I still say Fighters Impact would be a pretty cool name.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, that's all I wanted to say.
All right,
Thank
then,
you,
man.
guys.
No, don't let him hang out. Hold on. Bunke.
What's up?
Yeah, do you have any problem with me asking Jinmaster, Jesus Christ, Triforce a few questions while he's on the radio?
If he chooses wants to answer. Triforce?
Yeah.
I guess he got a few questions for you. Do you want to answer them or what?
Let him ask.
All right, I guess go for it.
Yeah, get the fucking recorders out. That's all I have to say. Tonight's a really good show. But anyway, all right, Isaiah. You know me straight up. You know, we've talked a lot of times about the fighting game community and everything and what we want to do with it. And you know I respect you for your intentions, and you know how I feel about the Empire, blah, blah, blah. My question to you is, and this is going to be personal, so I hope, you know, you're going to listen to it seriously. What the hell made you thought you had the right to go on SRK and start talking personal shit about Nestor? Because me and Nestor are really cool. We've known each other for a long time. And what you said about Nestor on SRK was extremely hurtful to him and all his friends. And that's really what kind of started the bullshit drama, you know, between Empire and Nestor and me and Team Hate and blah, blah, blah. But I want to know where you were coming from, where you thought you were justified to say the kind of personal shit you said on SRK. So what do you have to say?
There's a lot of people that do things in life, like bank robbers, murderers, drug sellers. They're not justified to do what they do. They just do what they do because they can. Next question.
All right. So with what you said on SRK, obviously you said drug sellers and murderers. Do you admit publicly that what you said about Nestor on SRK was fucked up, and do you apologize to him?
When I was on the radio the last time, I already explained myself why I said it. I clearly stated that what I said in terms of moral, from it being a moral, statement, that it was wrong. However, that's the way I felt because I'm tired of people talking crap behind my back, smile in my face when they see me, and then when they go online, they talk. So, difference was I said it on a radio rather than on SRK.
All right, so in your opinion, it's okay to take a personal insult, you know, something personal that happens out of someone's life totally unrelated to games, and then apply it to them because they talk shit about games online. That's okay to you. And again, I'm not trying to hate on you. I'm not trying to isolate you. I want to know your honest opinion. Yes or no, do you feel like it's okay to go where you went on SRK when you were talking about Nestor?
When I confront an individual face-to-face, and this person has an issue that's going down at a live event, and we make a business transaction on a live event in front of other people, and you have guys like Josh Wigfall, Justin, Desmond, Mike Mixup, Blazing Flow, who witnessed this event go down, say nothing, and then wait to get back to New York City a week or two later, Blazing Flow makes a big issue out of it, that you come online, you make it look like I was a thug that forced you to sell your spot on the Marvel team. Like I'm some type of guy who's going to, like, if you don't sell your spot, I'm going to beat you down in front of Evo. That's an insult to my integrity. That's an insult to me as a person and my reputation, right? I confront you and you say, well, you know, it's not even like that. You know, it's just that people at SRK was making it a big deal, yada, yada, yada. You smile in my face. After that, everything dies down. Then 3 years later, I make a post that's completely not related to anything doing with Marvel or Evolution 2003. I'm talking about Third Strike and a Team Third Strike for the Empire, and you jump online and you open your mouth to try to make a remark that's going to be on some side slander shit to diss me. right there and then, that just shows me what type of person we'll Nestor was. So I got offended. I felt, you know something? I hate this motherfucker. So I made a comment. I don't care if he didn't like it. I didn't like his comment. Don't see me asking him for an apology. And his comment was completely unrelated to whatever I was talking about. See, the problem is people need to be responsible for what they said. If Nestor did not say anything, first I wasn't even speaking to him. And I already made a promise when I came on the radio saying that I won't even talk about this. But just out of courtesy, because you asked the question, I want to respect you by giving you the answer. I'm just going to tell you one more time. If Nestor had kept this comment to himself, because my statement or my replies and my comments on SRK was not even talking to him. It wasn't even talking about a game he even played. It was talking about Third Strike. That would have never came out. It is that simple. I know what I said was mean and it was wrong and it offended him. But I just told you on that radio show, and I'm going to repeat it one more time so you can understand, I do not care. I'm sure when he wrote his reply, he knew it was going to irk me. I'm sure he didn't care. So we're all adults. He said something I didn't like. I said something he didn't like. That's the end of it. Do you have another question to ask me?
No, but I have something to say in response to what you just said.
Okay.
All right. First of all, the post or the thread that you posted in, Third Strike, you know, East Coast versus West Coast teams thread 5 versus 5 or whatever at EVO. You don't belong there, dude. And I think you know deep down that you don't belong there. You don't play Third Strike.
Okay.
You're not a top player.
Just one question.
You don't know about the Third Strike.
You said I don't belong there. Can you explain to all the listeners why you said I don't belong there? Because I'm going to explain to you why I do. I'm going to explain to everyone on the radio why I did belong there. So please explain to everyone who's listening now why you, DSP, deem Triforce not worthy to be on a thread to voice his opinion about players that are actually legally signed to his organization to play Third Strike at EVO.
Sure, because thread was not about a legally signed event. It was about an unofficial event on the side, not even publicized by EVO, players organizing something for themselves. If this was like official at EVO on the screen, you know, so-and-so versus so-and-so, you do have a legal contract with Empire and members. I know you do. You make them all sign a contract saying that the matches they play and the videos that they're recorded in are your property. I'm not stupid. I know you have a legal contract that says that with every Empire member. But this is not official. This is not going on the DVD. Everyone knew that. And you had to butt your head in and say, oh, this should be Empire versus whoever, which is totally unfounded, which had nothing to do with what the meaning of the thread had to do. That's why
Let me stop you there for one moment.
Go ahead.
Number one, I don't force everyone in Empire Arcadia to sign anything. Everyone in Empire Arcadia signs, you have a pro player contract, and then you have community members. Not everyone in Empire Arcadia signed to the actual legal part of the organization.
Right. I never said, let me get the record straight. I never said you force anyone to sign anything. But go ahead. That's not the impression I want to make. Go ahead.
Okay, that's why I said that. I just want to make sure that's out there. Number two, the thread was talking about teams for Third Strike. Prior to that thread, I met KO Fiend, and this is not to bring him in it. I'm just mentioning a situation before and the names that were involved in this situation. So, you know, this is not to get KO Fiend involved in this discussion. I met Justin and I met Issa in Chinatown, if that's how you pronounce his name. After speaking with Issa, after speaking with KO Fiend, they wanted in, what's the word for them? I guess I sold them into the Empire, if you want to look at it that way. I told them about how the corporation runs XYZ, and they both signed into the contract. KO Fiend brought up the fact that there was possibly going to be a 5-on-5 Third Strike team at EVO. And I said, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. And so far what they had was KO Fiend, Justin, Issei, Exodus, and I forgot the fifth person. But I I know it wasn't Flash. I think it was trying to get someone else in. And then I said, I said, oh, that's cool. I said, do you guys have any alternative teams and things like that? And he's like, not really. And I said, well, I asked Theophane, what happened if you guys was to make an all-Empire team? He said, I don't know, because Exodus is on the team, and, you know, if they took Exodus off, who would replace them? And he was like, well, it could be Flash or something. And he's like, but that's not fair, because Exodus wanted to be on the team. So I told Theophane, then let's talk to Exodus and see what can happen. And it doesn't matter if Flash is not on the team or not. You guys can ask him. He said, well, I don't really want to get involved in all that. He said, if you want to do it, you can do it, but I don't want to get involved in that. So I understood where Theophane, he just didn't want to ruffle any feathers or whatnot. So I said, okay, no problem, fine. I'll make the suggestion on the SRK thread. When the thread popped up, I was informed the thread was online, and I went online and I made a suggestion. My entire argument on that particular forum, I had to argue like 900 times that I was simply making a suggestion. Now, I don't understand, where do people come off telling me that I cannot make a suggestion? People were making suggestions for Team Texas, an all-Japanese team, and teams made from Jesus Christ, and teams made from crackheads and all types of other crap. I'm exaggerating, but my point was everyone was making a suggestion of what type of team that they could make. I simply made a team suggestion about an all-Empire team, and it got taken out of hand. Triforce, you don't belong in this thread. You just come in here and think you can just make up rules and dictate whatever. And I had to say 900 times, I did not come into the thread and say I want a third strike team for the Empire. I made a suggestion. So someone who wrote I forgot who made the actual thread. He had said, Triforce, well, this is just between the East Coast and the West Coast. We don't want any other team. Then I said, that is fair. He explained that they weren't trying to make any other side teams or anything like that. They just wanted the East versus West. So I butted out. Then that's when Nestor jumped in with some side comment because it had nothing to do with it. They already explained to me already that the all-Empire team is not wanted. The community didn't want to do it. The players didn't want to do it. Theophane even left the Empire. He rejected the Empire contract. I said, no problem. I tore it up and whatnot, and Theophane's out. And there was nothing after that. So I don't understand, why did I get attacked after that? I was being attacked for a suggestion. And then when I already conceded and I apologized on the thread, I was still attacked afterwards. Then you ask, why did I say what I said to Nestor? Because you guys kicked me when I was down for no reason. That's the actual reason why. And I don't care if you didn't like it. I don't have to defend myself. Go on the forums, read page 1 all the way down to damn page 19. You'll see who's wrong. I made sure I apologized in the thread and the entire night. So there's no reason for him to make his comment. And my comment was directed to you. I don't even insult you because I don't even know why you even attacked me. And it appears that what you're saying is this, that you're attacking me because I didn't belong in the thread. Do you think that's fair? Because you think I don't belong in the thread? So if someone's talking, so every time I see you in a Marvel thread, because you're not a top 5 Marvel player, and because I have 3 of the best Marvel players in my organization, if I see you in a Marvel thread, I should come in the thread and say, DSP, get the hell out of this thread. You don't belong here. Come on, who am I to tell you that? So if I'm no one to tell you that, how can you and Nestor tell me I shouldn't be using a thread on SRK? Now, do you have another question?
That was a good long statement, and it revealed a lot of stuff, I'm sure, to the people listening. But you really didn't hit the point. And again, the point is, regardless if Nestor and myself and 800 other people don't feel that you belong in a third strike team's thread, what makes you think that you can bring about personal insult about someone who responded to you and did not bring up personal stuff, but basically just said you don't belong in the fighting game thread? And the
answer to that is this.
In
the real world, DSP, if you attack
you're not going to let me finish, are you?
No, I'm answering your question. You're repeating the same question, so I'm answering. No, finish the full question.
Okay. What you said to Nestor was extremely hurtful. It's one thing to say, Nestor, you're not a top third strike player either. You don't belong in this thread. If you had said that, you know what? I couldn't say anything because you know what? Nestor's not a top third strike player. I'm not, and we would have left it to the third strike players. But Nestor is a major influence on the East Coast. I am too. I feel like if we say something, you know, no, our word is not law, but at least a couple people listen. You butting into the thread, you're not a game player. You're a person who
I'm not a game player?
Yeah, but again, you're not
I'm
the
not a
kind
game
of person
player?
to influence
Oh, you mean I'm not a third strike player?
Huh?
You mean I'm not a third strike player?
Well, you're not a third strike player, but you're also not a major fighting game player. Let's face it. You do support the community.
No, because you said I'm not a game. You had said I'm not a game player. I was just correcting that. I just don't play fighting games.
You're right. I said the wrong thing. You're not. Let me put it. You're not a major fighting game player. Okay. You don't participate in many fighting game tournaments. No, you don't place high. But for you to butt into a thread like that, where 99% of the people felt you were misinformed and you did not know what you were talking about forming an all-empire team, and for you to totally change the meaning of the thread and turn it towards Nestor and use something personal out of his personal life that you, and let's be honest, you knew that would have hurt him, what you said. Because you're still sore about the situation back in 2003 with the Marvel teams where Nestor was complaining about he was kicked off a team or whatever for Empire, which I could give two shits about. You brought out personal shit that did not belong in that thread. Now, you're telling me, your statement that it's okay to give a really serious, personal, real-life insult to someone about what they said about Street Fighter. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, that's what you're trying to say. What I'm trying to say is this. If you insult me, I'm going to insult you. Whether my insult is more detailed than yours, it's not the point. If we're in a fight in the
hold
street,
on.
and you smack me in my face,
hold
and
on,
I pull out a knife and I stab you, the point is you assaulted me.
Hold on for a second.
Go ahead, Bunker.
I don't know the whole situation behind the thread and everything. I don't. But I'll say this. I saw what was said regarding Nestor. And yes, I do agree that what was said was below the belt and not in line with everything that was said to that point, because it's one thing to talk about someone that's relating to the gaming scene. Like, hey, you know, you're whack. You're whack at fighting games. You're whack at this, blah, blah, blah. But it's one thing but it's quite another to bring something out of someone's personal life that has nothing to do with video games. And only the select handful of people would know and throw that out there. Because two wrongs don't make it right. That's one thing. Second of all, is like, if by doing that, this is my own opinion, Triforce Game Master. If you do that, all that does is it makes you look like that you can't be trusted with sensitive information. Because now, if I were to tell you sensitive information about myself, and somehow down the line things sour, I wonder if you're going to use that information against me sometime down the line. If I'm making any sense.
Number one, the information was not told to me. The information in which I said online, I saw for myself. Just to put that out there, no one came to me and told me anything.
Okay, so you saw for yourself.
The information I saw for myself when I saw Nestor. So that's why that came about. I already knew. No one told me anything.
Well then, that being said, that really doesn't change the core of my point. My core of my point
You're right. No, the core of your point still stands. But I don't think you guys understand the core of the statement I made in the last radio show. I already admitted that what I had said was below the belt. Morally, it was wrong. X, Y, Z, A, B, C. This is the same problem I'm having right now that I had on the SRK thread, and everyone seems to be missing it.
Mm-hmm.
I had already understood what was said. Let me put it in fewer and clearer words. What I said was wrong. Why I said it was because Nestor did not mind his business, and he came on and insulted me. I don't care how he insulted me or what context he insulted me. He insulted me, period. So I hit him back. That's different. The difference is he slapped me, I punched him. The difference is he stabbed me, I shot him. The difference is he insulted me about video games, I insulted him about real life. The point is I'm trying to make is, if he did not strike me first, I would not have struck him. I'm the type of person, someone hits me, my wrath is 2 times as hard. It's that simple. I want everyone to understand that about me. All on the radio recording me. That's how I am. Why? Because that's how people have made me to be. Where I come from, I don't let no one do any harm to me. And if you do, my wrath will be 2 times better.
So if a kid attacks you, so if a kid half your age attacks you, and you take out a gun and shoot him, you think that's fair?
No, if a kid now you're making circumstantial situations to weigh your point. If a child attacks me, I'm not going to pull out a gun and shoot him. I'm going to take the child to his parents and let the parents deal with them. Now, if a child pulls out a gun and tries to shoot me, which happens in reality, you have children who go around trying to kill people. True. I'm going to try to stop that child or kill the child to preserve my life.
Right.
Now, if someone my age slaps me, I'm going to punch them.
Okay.
It's different.
My point is this. I mean, I don't know like I said, I don't know the situation behind it, but I can say this much. From what I've read of what you said, I mean, it was, I don't know. There's a difference between calling someone a fag or calling someone a whack player and then saying something that only a few people would know.
The problem is I don't think you guys understand. You do understand I'm not disagreeing with you guys. You are following that, right?
I understand
you
that,
know that, right?
But the justification you're using, you
no,
can justify. You could take.
Whoa.
No,
I'm not justifying.
Hold on. When you justify, let me tell you something. You know what? There's a saying. Hitler, the most evil people in the world, never think of themselves as evil. They just think that if they do something bad, they can accomplish a greater good.
That's
you know what I'm
so
saying?
funny. That's real suggestive.
No. I'm not trying to say you're the evil person, but I'm saying is
Hitler.
You can no. I'm not saying that you're Hitler or comparing you to Hitler. What I'm saying is that if you do things bad, there's no such thing as doing something bad to accomplish.
You asked a question.
I
gave you an answer.
Okay.
You asked a question. I gave you an answer.
Right.
The answer isn't to justify anything. I explained this is why I said in the last radio discussion that I will not talk about it again. Because if I speak about it again, then I'm trying to justify what I did was wrong. Mm-hmm. I already said what I did was wrong, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I have my reasons why I did it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. I don't think you guys are getting it. I'm not justifying it. I'm not giving you an excuse. The only reason why you even know why I did it is because you asked. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Remember, before I never explained it. Before I just told you I did it. I knew it was wrong, and I didn't care.
Isaiah,
the thing about it is, you might not care, but at the same time, I'm just saying from my perspective.
Oh, I know. I see your perspective, and I actually completely agree. It was a low blow, that kind of did suck, that was kind of messed up, and and I have my reasons why I went on the low blow, but I'm not on the receiving end of the low blow, and I do believe in karma, and it will come back around to me. It had hit me before. When I first came to SRK, you had all types of guys talking about I masturbate and I do my wife up the ass with the power glove and all types of other stuff that was real low blow. And for 3 years, Triforce said nothing and took it all on SRK from some thug in the street. What's this kid's name? Alex Lightning, some guy he used to work in Web 2 Zone. He said, I tried to mug him, and me and the Empire were just a bunch of niggers and thugs. And he used the actual nigger in the thread, that we was about a bunch of niggers and thugs, and we tried to beat them down. And a lot of people try to discredit my name. DSP is one of them. And for 3 years, all Triforce did was try to answer back, answer back above the weight and try to keep things civil. A lot of people, Shankar and Ataro and Jerron's like, ignore those fools, man. You have to remain professional and XYZ and all this other stuff. And I really tried, but I am human. And everyone knows that Triforce has been attacked for 3 years And a lot of times it's unwarranted. A lot of people try to attack me to make a name for themselves.
Okay, well,
This
the
one
first thing I
particular
would say about
time,
that
I just said,
is
no,
that
I'm not taking
anybody
it
that
no
brings
more.
your wife into it, I would that's just as wrong.
Okay.
I think I mean
no,
I think even
that's
DSP
not
would
to
have to
that's not
agree
to
with that.
justify.
Huh?
That's not to justify.
Okay.
That's to show that I've taken many under the belt too.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. I've taken here's an example. Look at the situation with Mike Watson and me. Me and Mike Watson, we had
What
we
about
had
you,
our
Mike
little
Watson?
thing.
You watched the beef at Evo. No one wants to hear it, man.
No. It's not. We're not talking about Evo. First of all, don't assume. I'm talking about this in terms. Me and Watson, we had issues that went to real life that could have gotten into some type of altercation. I saw Watson face to face. We talked at Evo. Everything got squared off. Even though there was some real, I'm like, you think the stuff with Nestor is bad? No, it's some real bad stuff. But me and him, man to man, faced each other. We had our discussion. We had a difference in words and whatnot. But in the ultimate end, we came to a resolution, and it was all fair and square, and it was all done. Now, what I'm trying to say is that I've taken some under the belt, and I've taken some on the chin. I didn't like them. I didn't like who gave them to me and whatnot. But ultimately, in the end, I worked out my differences. Now, Triforce makes one blow under the belt, and I guess this is how media works. All the good I do won't mean anything. It's that one bad you guys look for. Not you as per se as the media. I'm just saying when people are looking out to get something from you, that's what they do, the one bad. So the one low blow I gave Nestor is going to now obviously mark me as this deviant idiot who, he takes things out of context and whatnot and blah, blah, blah and all this other stuff. When you can ask anyone how many times people have gone under the belt with me, and those people aren't questioned. So to me, the way I looked at it, look, you know what these guys are after, Triforce. You know what these guys are going to try to do to you, whatever. And at that day and at that moment, I just didn't care. So I just replied the way I felt I replied. I'm human like anyone else. So if you guys are going to judge me off of that, that's fine. That's why I told you guys I already admit what I did.
Okay. All right. Then there you got it. There you have it.
Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
like
Can I finally
long-winded, but unfortunately. You have another question, DSP?
I have two questions for you, and then I'm actually done for the night.
Okay, shoot.
All right. So the first question is, you absolutely 100% admit that what you said about Nestor on SRK in that Third Strike Teams thread was under the belt and uncalled for and had nothing to do with that thread. You admit that?
I think I said that on the first radio show. Yeah, I did, and I'm saying it again. Yeah, I did on this one. Yeah. I'm confirmed.
Okay, so that's question number one, and this is question number two. And after this, you're off the hook, and I swear you're off the hook. Okay?
I'm off the hook. Wow, I didn't know I was on the hook. But go on.
But you were on the hook since all then, brother. Okay? All right, the second question. Here's the second question. So you admit that you were out of line, and you went under the belt, and you did wrong when you made that insult about Nestor. Do you apologize to Nestor for what you said?
Oh,
yes
hell no. Are you serious? Is that a real question? Come on, give me the actual real question.
Hold on, guys. Hold on a second.
Call anyone else, because all we have is basically Isaiah admitting on radio in front of all the Street Fighter community that he can make under the belt comments that have nothing to do with anything discussed in any reason. And he can just say it whatever he wants, and he doesn't apologize.
I'll let him finish.
Hold on for a second on both sides. Hold on.
Well, you listening to...
All right,
hold on. I just want to say something before anyone says anything. Now, you hear that, everyone on SRK listeners. Triforce consulted numerous times.
Okay, you're there now.
Hello?
Yeah. I make an under-the-belt comment on one person, and DSP says, I justify myself to go around to make under-the-belt comments and reply at people off of one thing. Let this be a lesson to any of you guys who want to become pro fighters and so forth in the future. You have to be careful of how the media or your enemies will try to treat you. These guys will look for that one mistake you make, And when you make that one mistake, being sorry or atoning doesn't mean anything. This is something that I've learned in life. That doesn't mean anything.
So you
no
admit,
one cares. No one cares.
You're not sorry.
No. I just told you that for everything that everyone has done to me, that one day I just snapped and I said, look, I'm going to let him have a piece of my mind. I said what I said and I meant what I said. Then you just said that Triforce goes around and goes under the belt with anyone once I can't take nothing. No. One situation does not justify my entire behavior, DSP, and that's what you're trying to make it out to be. And that's what all guys like you try to make things out to be. To anyone who makes a mistake. Many people make mistakes out of life. Kobe Bryant cheated on his wife. Does that make him a whore? Does he go and sleep with every other girl because he slept with one? Beat it, man. Get out of here with that. You're not talking to a kid, man. I went under the belt low with Nestor because I didn't like what he said. That's one time. I know a lot of things you do, really, a lot of things you do that's completely uncalled for, or consistently. That's why you're the king of hate, so to speak. And no one questions you. No one goes on the radio and tries to deframe your name. Deframe what name? You like your name deframed. That's what makes you the king of hate. So don't try to imply these little side remarks and all this other stupidness. Get out of here with that. If you have a real question, man, ask a real question. You are not dealing with a child. I don't care if I wear a power glove. If you haven't gotten, I wore a power glove because that's the marketing of my character, my company, idiot.
So, you know what? I had a whole radio show dedicated to hating on me, and it was by the owner of this radio station, and I had the balls to call in and defend myself. So for you to say that, number one, I don't like anyone, I'll just let anyone hate on me and that this hate is fake and blah, 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 you're wrong. That's just a persona I put on.
Did I say that?
At the time, I will not have people insult my personal life and my personal character over Street Fighter. Under no circumstances will I have that happen. So for you to come on this radio station, shut up.
Finish,
talking. You got to let me finish. I listen to your bullshit, now you listen to mine. For you to come on this radio station to say that you did something wrong, you honestly admitted you did something wrong. You went out of your way to insult Nestor on a personal level.
He hung up. He hung up, DSP.
I'm sorry, Bunke. What are you saying?
He hung up.
Who hung? Isaiah hung up?
Yeah, the Game Master. Yeah, Triforce hung up.
What a pussy. All right, I'm going to say my statement quickly then. For Isaiah to get on this radio station and say that he did something wrong publicly in front of everyone, he admits that, making a personal insult on Nestor when it had nothing to do with what the thread was about. He admits that was wrong. Then he will not apologize. That's the same as a 5-year-old kid saying, I didn't know any better than what I did was wrong. And so we should all forgive Triforce. Guess what? Triforce is not 5 years old. He claims to be the leader of a major gaming community, and he doesn't know what's wrong and right. He doesn't know that when you do something wrong and you admit that you did something wrong, you should apologize for it. Then I don't want that person being a major influence in my gaming community. So, Triforce, get the fuck out of here. We do not want you in the Street Fighter community, and we never did. If you ever try to pull that shit again and make a personal insult against someone, we will expel you from this community, whether it's online or it's in person forcefully. This is my statement, and I'm sticking to it. If you make a personal insult about me, shit that you do not know the truth about in real life, I will make you pay for it in real life, since that's where you like to fucking stick your fucking dick where it doesn't belong.
Okay.
And I know you kind of agree with me, Bunke, because you know that what he said about Nestor was not right and it had nothing to do with that game.
I don't know about this. Hold on. Yo, you're on AlphaISM Radio. Who's this?
Yeah, you got Nestor online?
Huh?
Do you have Nestor online?
No. He's never been on the show.
Oh, he's never been on the show?
Mm-mm.
Oh. And DSP still talking?
I think he just got through.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on. You want me to repeat it for you because you weren't on the line, brother?
No, I don't have to repeat it, DSP. I already heard you.
All right. You know what I said. So you do not
know
fucking
exactly
talk about me or anyone else in real life. You understand me. Never bring that shit out. Because if you do, we will fucking find you. This is Street Fighter. This is not fucking personal shit that you bring out. You have insulted everyone in the community who has tried to put this together into a fighting game community that can be successful by pulling out little
one guy who insulted me?
bullshit.
Oh,
yes,
please, DSP.
one
You're
guy.
Not the
That's how
ambassador.
it fucking
You're
starts.
not the ambassador
Not
of this community.
do what you
DSP,
do.
don't talk about you're going to come find me, DSP. You live in Jersey. Shut up. Stop that shit.
I don't even live in Jersey, you dumb shit. You're in the fucking major gaming community of the United States.
Wherever you live.
Where I live. Shut
Wherever you
the
live.
fuck up.
I'm like, DSP, listen to you making threats online. How you sound? Cut it out. Wherever you live, Boston, Connecticut, Maine, who cares?
Really?
I'm like,
really?
Don't talk about,
really,
don't talk, DSP, you're on the radio. Stop. I'm like, come on, let's be realistic, DSP. Cut it out. You're on the radio. I'm like, guys just try to punk you from the West Coast not too long ago. So don't act like you're hardcore, especially to me. Stop. If you're going to have a discussion on the radio, it's one thing to not agree on the same viewpoints, but don't go, I'm going to find you, try to cut it out. Really, let's be realistic here. Stop it. All right? Now, back to the main point. You missed what I said. I understand what I did was wrong, and I already told you I admitted it. I already told you why I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize because I wanted Nestor to feel the same pain I felt when every time someone said, because at me, it was under the belt. If I felt that that's the only way it was going to get to him under the belt, then that's the way I felt. There's a lot of people that do things in life. You have to be realistic with yourself and realistic with life, obviously. This is not kindergarten. You're talking, listen to what you just said. You're trying to talk to me like I'm some fourth grade kid. Whenever you do something wrong, Triforce, and you know it, you got to apologize. You can't go around doing anything realistically, DSP. That does not work in life. It doesn't work like that, man. I don't know what to tell you. Huh?
Are you done? I'm waiting
done.
for you to finish, talking your bullshit.
Oh, boy. So, what is the point of this?
The point is to tell you that you will, under no circumstances, go around saying whatever you want anymore. Yes, there's freedom of the United States of America, but there's a very fine line drawn between freedom of speech and personally insulting someone.
Usually that freedom of speech
not go around my community saying whatever the fuck you want. You will not insult people who have never done anything to you.
I will not.
Do you understand me?
So you're trying to say that what I did to Nestor was completely unprovoked. I just did it because I had nothing else to do with my time on SRK. That's what you're trying to suggest, right?
You took your anger from about 3 to 4 years worth of hate on the Empire, and you directed it towards one person that maybe deserved 1,000th of that hate. And you're trying to justify that that's correct.
I wasn't trying to justify anything. You're trying to say I'm justifying. I already explained to you I wasn't trying to even give an excuse. I already admitted that it was wrong. You stop saying I'm trying to justify. Stop trying to paint the picture. Let me show you what the real picture is.
Oh my God! You've told us what the real picture is 100 times, and we don't want to.
Then why do you keep trying? Then why do you try to keep repainting the picture?
Because
saying, under no circumstances you're going to ever say again. Because if I say it again, DSP, what are you going to do?
Shut up.
What are you going to do?
People realize that people do something wrong, they admit they did it wrong, and they apologize. For some reason, you think you're above everyone else, and when you do something wrong, you don't have to apologize for it.
No, I don't.
Ew.
It's just that one circumstance. I don't want to apologize to them because I'm tired of the BS.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you never did.
Okay, hold on. Okay, this part of it is over because you can't. I mean, DSP, you can't force him to apologize.
Exactly. What is forcing?
So it's a useless gesture, I mean, you can't tell him that, okay, you cannot say this ever again. I mean, you can't say that to him because he can say whatever he wants. Now, if you want you to do something about it, that's one thing. Hey, that's on you. That's your business. But, you just can't say to somebody, what, you cannot say that. I mean, hey, like I said, to be objective about it, there might have been shit. From what I read in the RC channel, some people have said some shit about, I didn't even know up until that comment was made. I didn't even know that Game Master was married. You know, and to say that, to say some of the shit about him and his wife, I think that's just as equally as uncalled for.
But no, hold on. But no, wait, don't get that twisted, because Nestor never said anything about my wife.
I know I know he didn't. I'm just saying is that, that there's been shit that's been said from both sides.
To me,
and because I don't think it's just you versus Nestor. I think
no, it isn't. That's why DS.
I think it's you versus a group of other people. So,
It's like me versus SRK, and unfortunately, Nestor's comment just made me snap, and of all that rage hit him. Mm-hmm. And like DSP just said, Nestor didn't deserve that. He probably deserved 1/10 of it. And I'm trying to explain to him, shit happens. Shit happens. To be very honest with you, shit happens. If DSP wants me to say, where did that rage, who's it really directed for? To be honest with you, it's directed to SRK in general, and for all the people that really hate me, for whatever their reasons are. To be very honest with you, that much I will say. I won't say that when I said it to Nestor, it was solely meant for him. And the frustration builds up over a period of time. For me, it took about 3 years.
Honestly,
shit.
Okay, I think that both sides have said their piece. I think we should just leave it at that.
All right.
You guys have said your pieces over and over again. If the point has been made, and maybe down the line this shit can get squashed too.
No, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that and say that less than an hour, or actually a little bit over an hour ago, Jinmaster was on the same radio station. He knew he did something wrong, and he admitted it, and he apologized. I respect him immensely. But for the same situation, someone to come online and admit they did something wrong, and then say that they're not sorry for doing it, that's the wrong kind of person to be leading any kind of a community, and that's why people will never take Isaiah seriously, period.
Okay. All right.
Any more questions?
No. Actually, the only thing I can say is thank you for coming on the radio station and to answer some criticism. That's basically all I can say. And DSP, thanks. Thanks for the good topic on it. This is another topic that's gotten a lot of talk about, and I think that both of you guys said your piece on it, and I think we should just leave it at that.
Hey, man, I'll leave it at that, but all I'm going to say is what I started with. Isaiah, you know the deal. You make another personal insult about myself, about Nestor, about anyone else I'm friends with, and you will be in trouble. And I'm not lying to you. You saw me at CTF. You fucking ran away from me. You played Super Turbo by yourself. You didn't say a word. You didn't say a word to me at Evolution. And you know you don't want to say a word because you're afraid that if you say something to me in real life, something's going to happen. Well, guess what? Something will fucking happen if you say some bullshit about me. So you learn your fucking lesson, you keep your dick between your legs like the little pussy you are, and you run your little faggot group of people. Because if you ever personally insult myself and Nestor again, you're done. You fucking understand me?
Okay, it's done. It's done. All right.
Yo, you hear this? Oh, no, don't worry. I'm not gonna dignify his response with none of that eat the garbage. I'm just saying, you're hearing to this guy. This guy is threatening me on radio. This is real great. That's some good shit, DSP. Good shit. But do you have any more questions? Because if you don't, I'm sure the guy would like to.
As far as that's concerned, yeah. We're through as far as the questions are concerned.
All right. Cool. All right. See you guys later.
All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks for coming on the radio.
All right. Bye.
Bunky, I apologize. I really do.
It was a cool argument and debate until it started turning personal. Because you got to be careful with that shit though. Because if he wanted to be an ass about it, and if he wanted, this shit could be recorded, man. And if something happens to him, and you say all this shit on the radio, that shit can't come back on you. And as small the chance that might be happening, you know that's true. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do that, because I mean, first of all, all it is like it's like a kindergarten type of fight, I'm gonna kick your ass after school if blah, blah. It's just not worth it, it's not worth going through all of that for. I mean, look, this is how I feel. I feel that what was said was wrong, but I also feel that it's not the entire story either. Who knows the entire story? I mean, that's the whole point. No one knows the entire story. You're on AlphaISM Radio. Who's this?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is, I don't know if you remember me, this is Naresi from the Empire.
Who?
Naresi from the Empire. You remember me, I was making jokes about your boy who painted his toes a while back.
Oh, alright, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm alright.
I just wanted to go back to the original subject, you know what I'm saying, because, I heard everything was going on just now. Don't really care about that.
Yo, you're part of the Empire? Hello?
Yo, who's on right now?
I think this guy dropped, man.
Yo, who is it? It's Ben. Who else is it?
Okay, hold on for... Well, first of all... Well, who did he say he was?
He said he was somebody from the Empire.
Well, strange. He's coming up with the same phone number for Triforce Game Master. Alright.
And it's probably that fucking house all the time.
Okay.
The same random dude.
Here, Echo.
And CTF with him.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Yo, Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't.
Alright.
Funky, I really don't mean to get like that. I'm sorry, man. It's just that people like that who think they can say whatever the fuck they want anywhere, they really piss me off. And he knows better to say shit about me, so he starts to talk shit about people who knows they can't, they won't defend themselves. Nestor is such a nice guy, he knows that Nestor won't go up to him in real life and fucking beat his ass for what he says. So that's why he says it. That's why he picked Nestor out of all the people who said negative shit about him in that thread. That's what really pisses me off.
I understand that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you're not, that there's no justification for you being mad. I mean, I think there is. I mean, I read a comment. I don't know Nestor from Adam. I think the comment was under the belt. But at something like this, I mean, like I said, it's like it's just a saying. There's one side, there's the other side, and there's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what I'm going to say about it is the comment was uncalled for, but I mean, like again, I wouldn't take it so far as to start saying if you say some shit about me because if anything happens to that dude, even if it has no relation to you, anything happens to that dude, I mean, and someone happened to have a recording of this, look what DSP said. This dude's basically threatening him on radio. I mean, I don't want that shit. I just don't want that shit coming because I mean, it can turn real ugly. You had a friend that was shot that was in the Street Fighter community. Not to say it's going to go that far, but you know what? I know by the experience that shit can go that far, and it's not worth it. Over what? Not even a comment as bad as that one. That's not worth it. It's better. You know what? Something like that. For some people, like he believes in karma. I don't believe in karma, but I do believe that you reap what you sow, and I do believe that when if you pee on the electric fence, you eventually gonna get electrocuted. So I do think that if he continues doing shit like that, then eventually there's going to be consequences for that. But don't put yourself in the middle of it. I mean, I'm not going to make this into a whole bitch out session about Game Master because I don't know the guy. I mean, I just know what was said, and I try to keep that in mind because people have a habit of saying things from their own point of view. Even if it's something that's true, you can manipulate things to make them mean something that it really isn't. That's just life. So
Right. But again, that wasn't what happened. He didn't manipulate anything. He knew what he was saying. And
well, yeah, he did. He did. I'm not saying he didn't say it, I'm not saying he didn't mean it the way that you read it, but I'm just saying is I mean, it's like something like that. You know what? You're mad. I think you're more frustrated for the fact that he's not going to apologize for it. You know,
He should.
hey. I might be inclined to agree, but you know what? It's nothing like that. You know, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year, he'll patch up things with Nestor. You never know. Because if I would have asked you yesterday, hey, you think you and Jinmaster be cool? You probably say, probably not. But it happened.
Me? I would say that.
I mean, I don't know. You might say yes, we probably could, but what I'm saying is that you just never know. Bridges get burnt and rebuilt all the time, especially in the Street Fighter community.
Yo, Isaiah is a double talker. He's like our president. He'll say in one sentence that something he did was wrong, and then in the next sentence he'll say, oh, but it was for the greater good, and I'm not sorry about it. Bullshit. If you do something wrong, you will apologize for it, and you will be held accountable for it. Now, the president can't be held accountable because he rules our fucking country, but I'm sorry. Someone like TFGM should be held accountable.
I mean, well, okay, yeah. I believe that when people do things wrong, they should be held accountable. I mean, but that's not me, and that's not you. I mean, unless we're not. I mean, it's not like he's your child. You can't spank him on the butt for doing something like that. I mean, if you're gonna take it in your own hands, then nothing good gonna come out of there, except jail time or something like that. I mean, if it gets that serious. I mean, for something like that, you just gotta hope that at some point in the future that it all all gets resolved. I mean, that's all you really can do.
How sad is the state of our country? We just had a guy who, his daughter, his 2-year-old daughter, came up to his wife and said, our next door neighbor abused me. The next door neighbor was a pervert. This guy was constantly standing in the window naked. He was known for being a pervert in the neighborhood. And the girl goes up to her mother and says, this guy, I went next door one day and he tempted me with candy and he grabbed my vagina or whatever. And the guy, the father was so enraged, he went next door with a butcher knife and he cut the fuck out of the guy who was dead. And now he's in jail and he's going to be on trial for grand murder because he killed this guy who abused his child. What the fuck kind of do we live in where someone can get away with a dirty deed, completely 100% proven that they're wrong? This guy, Isaiah, admitted he's wrong, and we have no recourse to punish him. What the fuck kind of a society do we live in, man?
Because you know what you're talking about is vigilantism, and being vigilante justice may seem right at first, but as with anything, it can be abused. Because that same father might decide that he want to kill that dude's entire family instead of just him. Instead of killing a child molester, he'll burn the house down and kill everybody inside of it, and probably won't even feel bad about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can take anything too far. I mean, like I said, anything can be abused, anything can be taken too far, and I mean, I've actually, it's kind of funny you brought that up because I've had arguments about people who think that that punishment should be decided by, the family of the victim or the family that's affected. I mean, I've had arguments like that. So.
I don't know, man. And people online right now are comparing and saying, oh, this is not the same situation and DSP is being ridiculous. In that case, where the guy killed the next door neighbor did not outright admit he did wrong. In this case, Isaiah did admit he 100% did wrong, and we have no recourse. We have no way to make him pay. So that's what I'm really peeved about. We have someone who's so arrogant, thinks he's so important, in a community where, honestly, no one gives a shit what he said. He thinks he can go around and say whatever he wants about anyone and he can get away scot-free, and that's bullshit.
Well, at the same point, though, at the same point, it's just like with anything. You can't take what everybody say personally, and that's the hard part for everybody, including myself. You can't take what somebody say personally and to the point where it allows it causes you to become bitter because then you letting that person win. You know, I mean, so far he made a comment. Do I think his ass should be beat over a comment? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so because you know what? It's not worth it. It really is not worth it. It's not worth getting him beat up and then somebody go to jail, or if something happens and he's permanently injured or dead, or the thing about he's married, probably got kids. We don't know. I mean, it's just like I'm saying is when people take things in their own hands, take things into their own hands, shit normally gets out of control and stuff happening they did not intend on happening. But just like when the original wrong was done, it's irreversible. I think that for him, for the situation between you and Game Master, I think that you know what the thing about it is, unless I don't know how often you talk to Nestor, but if Nestor is not making a big deal out of it, then neither should you.
Nestor did make a big deal out of it. That's the thing. He was so pissed off when it came out. He messaged me about it, like, what the fuck? And the thing about Nestor is, again, he's a really laid-back guy. And, he's a really good player, and he's got a good personality. He does not diss people publicly, if they don't deserve it. He was the worst target in that thread. If you want to insult someone...
Yo, you give me 5 minutes. Yo, stop talking for 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Let me have 5 minutes. Yo, I really just want to say, just talk for 5 minutes and then I'm going to get off the radio so you can have the show back.
I don't understand. And then try to pull something personal out of his hat. The problem was he didn't have any personal information about me, and he wanted to try to make himself look big, and that's why he pulled something out against Nestor. Because he knew Nestor was the kind of guy who would not defend himself, and he was the person who he had dared against, and that's why he did it.
Yo,
so that's why I've never there.
Yo!
Yeah.
Hold up. He really went out of his way to target somebody else just to get at you. Really. Listen, during the course of the conversation, you asked him why he targeted Nestor, and he explained he was angry at Nestor for making backhanded comments about him and saying, listen, like, he said, Nestor came out of nowhere, made a backhand comment about this event that happened in the past, and it was uncalled for. And that was the reason why he got angry and retaliated at Nestor. Now you are saying the exact motherfucking opposite. How are you going to not listen to what he says and fucking turn it around and then use it as an argument? Dude, you can't argue that way. There is no fucking recourse if that's going to be the case, dog. You're in charge, man. It doesn't fucking matter. You're fucking bending reality, dude. You can't not listen to the words somebody says and then fucking argue against them. What the fuck, dude? That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. This shit is so stupid.
Who is this? Is this Skisonic?
Oh my god! I'm so fucking mad. This shit is dumb. It's dumb. Dumb.
Who is this on the phone?
Dumb. Anyway, I still got 3 minutes. So
I know you do. Who are you?
What else did you say? DSP. Then you went off and then you made the whole personal attacks like, I'm gonna fuck you up. You didn't say those words, but that was what you implied. And then you said, you said that he can't make personal attacks. He should have to apologize. Well, I guess every rapper that was ever alive should have to apologize. The worst thing that he said in that paragraph, what he said was, you can't hold it down with your girl. Well, I guess we gotta go get 50 Cent and tell him to apologize for fucking Piggy Bank, huh? Clickety clank. Dog. What the fuck?
Oh, Christian.
Who the fuck cares? People talk shit. Okay, there was one line, and it was kind of personal. Who the fuck cares, dude? Niggas is beefing. How are you gonna jump into the argument and say, oh my god, you have to apologize for your beef? Dog, it's a conflict. A motherfucking conflict between two people. Of course there's gonna be shit talk. Of course there's gonna be beef, and the fucking further it goes, it's gonna fucking escalate. He said, this is why I had a problem with Nestor, and that's why I took it there. What the fuck else do you want from him? He's not gonna apologize to somebody that he has beef with. That's dumb too. And then you sit there and make all the fucking personal comments about how you're gonna fuck him up. Are you above it? I mean, you just said you're gonna fuck him up. Dude, that's personal insults. That's just worse. That's way worse than saying, dog, you can't hold it down in bed with your girl. You can come back and say, yo, I can hold it down in bed with my girl. Okay, great. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Come on. You should, like, apologize for that. You've never apologized for me, for talking shit to me. I don't apologize to you. What the fuck? It's fucking SRK. It's a fighting game community. Niggas is gonna fight. Oh my god. I don't even want the last minute, dog. Peace.
Good, leave. Tired of listening to you.
Ski on this soapbox. Alright, I think this...
Anyway, his whole argument was that, Nestor already talked shit about Isaiah. Whatever. Nestor did not talk personal shit about Isaiah. What he said was bullshit about a Marvel team tournament at the 2003 Evolution. That's a lot different than bringing out personal shit. Period. Christian's argument is not valid.
But my argument is different. My argument is this. If Nestor is not making a big deal out of it, why are you making a big deal?
Because, again, and I said this a million times, Nestor's my close personal friend, even outside of games, and he's not the kind of person to make us think about it, because he does not, he knows he's not going to get up in someone's face in real life. He knows he can't do that.
But here's the thing about it is, okay, given all that, what he just said, still, the point of the matter is, he's not making a big deal out of it. He's moved on. You got to move on, too. Because there's nothing you can do about it. You can't force him to apologize. You cannot force him to see your point of view. And getting up in his face about it and getting a physical altercation, that's not going to help either, because you still ain't going to get an apology out of him.
What is to stop Isaiah from doing the same thing to anyone else?
Nothing. Nothing. You can't control what people say. I can't. You can't. I mean, nobody can.
So it's okay to let someone like him go ahead and say whatever they want about anyone.
I didn't say it's okay, but I said that you...
the entire community.
But it's not... I'm not saying it's okay, but you can't control what other people do. And you can't be the right arm of justice and think that you can punish people according to what you think is right and wrong. You can't do that. Nobody can. Not one person. I mean, that's just the whole thing. My point of it, it'd be a little bit different if Nestor was having a serious problem with it. But if he's moved on, you move on too. It's over. It's done. Because, the thing about it is you really only hurting him by keeping it up. Because now you keep on bringing it up. Let the shit die. Because if you keep on bringing it up, all you're doing is hurting Nestor. Because people keep on hearing this shit over and over again, and they keep on talking about it over and over again.
Yeah. At Evolution, I talked to Nestor, and he said to me that he really, really wanted me to make Triforce apologize. Because even though he doesn't talk about it, and even though he doesn't go online or go on the radio and talk about it, shit does get to him. And at Evolution, I made it a point not to do that, because someone really talked a lot of sense into me and told me if you do it at Evolution, you have a high chance of getting arrested, and it's not worth it. But I think tonight, even though he did not apologize, at least this radio, show gave me the opportunity to show what kind of a person he really is. And that he does not care about others. He only cares about himself. He feels like he can say and do whatever he wants. And that's not the kind of person we want in charge of any kind of a community.
Okay.
So
that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. But, again, you know what? The thing about it is, just let it die. And if Nestor was on here, I'd tell him the same thing, because you can't force him. You cannot force an apology out of anybody. And even if you could force an apology, it wouldn't be genuine. So what would be the point?
There has to be a genuine apology, and he has to want to apologize.
Yeah, and that's what you want out of him. But you're not going to get that. So it's like it's time to move on.
Yeah, it's time to move on and just screw it and move on.
It's not something I should hang on forever. You're absolutely right. But just the fact that he was on the radio, and it was the first time that we had him in public talking about this, I felt like I had to bring it out, into the open. If he's on again, I won't even bring it up, because there's no point. We know he admitted wrong, and we know that he's not man enough to apologize for when he does something wrong. So why keep bringing up the point? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from this day forward, DSP, just drop it and forget it. Let's go. Move on. No need to talk about it
Man,
anymore. You know what I mean?
Yo, are you outside? You're like breaking up. It sounds like there's cars driving by you.
Yeah, I'm driving, man. What's up, my niggas?
Oh no.
How's all the niggas?
What is
Niggas
that?
and niggas.
Jamaica, man.
The niggas and niggas.
DSP, Mr. Hate. Ben, Mr. Ben. Uncle Ben. And Rice.
Uncle Ben
I like
Rice.
that.
Yeah,
I like
was
that.
coming.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I like that. I've heard that so many times. I've heard that so many times. You know, let me tell you something. Right now, there's almost 50 people listening right now, so this definitely was something to tune into. And I don't think this was the worst night of radio. I think that if anything, this just shows that, well, people like drama. That's one thing it shows, and that's the one thing you was right about, DS. People do love drama.
Yeah, they like drama.
You know, but at the same time, though, I think that it's interesting because DSP, I think you brought one good point, and that is, you know, it's interesting. You solved one debate, you solved one beef, but another beef is still unresolved. But just like I said, any beef can be squashed. In the SRK community, bridges are burnt and rebuilt almost all the time. You know, and I mean, it just happens because the thing about it is, and it's something that I have a problem with. One thing about it is, I don't forgive easily. I get that from my mom. I don't forgive easily. That's why I haven't talked to my dad since, up until 2-3 nights ago. I haven't talked to him in about 9 months because the dude, did not help me out when I really needed to. I needed someone to co-sign for my apartment so I can get my own place. He refused to do it. He refused to ask his wife about it, my stepmom. And for that, I was severely pissed. And even now, I'm still just a little bit pissed about it. A little bit because I got my own place anyway. Even though that is in jeopardy. But still, that's besides the point. It's just, but at the same time though, I realized that anger like that, all that does is, he ain't angry about it because, I mean, he didn't sound like he was really sorry. Because, part of people being angry is they hope that if they keep a grudge, they can make the person remorseful about it. But that doesn't really make sense. It doesn't happen that way.
Anger doesn't solve anything.
Huh?
Doesn't solve anything, but it's good to be angry.
I mean, it's
You're
good to
about
be angry because
emotional and angry, vent, whatever.
Because I mean, but my anger is because I don't think my father has changed. Like I told people all the time. It's kind of funny. You guys know more about my personal life than some of the people I worked with. Every day. I mean, but I honestly thought that he changed, and he really hasn't changed. It shit has to be done his way, and I still believe that to be the case. And it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around that and still be a nice good son to him. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to do both of that because the dude is selfish. The dude only wants to get only does shit when it's in his benefit. That is an undeniable fact because I can tell you 50 different instances where it has happened that way.
I guess his attitude is if it doesn't help him and it doesn't benefit him, then fuck it, right? Who cares about other people?
I mean, what? It's even more than that.
There's people like that, though.
Right. But see, the thing about it is, usually when people are selfish like that, usually they're not selfish to the point where they will let their youngest child almost freeze to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my whole point is because I told him that. He's like, oh, I didn't know things were that bad. He's like, whose fault is that? And I said, and how can you not know? You saw what happened in that house. I didn't see you trying to try to take me, maybe, make some arrangements for me to go somewhere warm. He didn't. It's like you was all gallywagging and fucking people. I mean, like I said, dude, it's like, is there a time when you don't think about fucking? It's like, seriously. I'm like, I can name 20 people that I know you have hit it. Every female that I've seen you with, I know for a fact that you hit it. You slept with people in your own church. Upstanding
anyway.
members of the congregation, you slept with them too. You know, and he
Gonna
was
take
an
one-
elder / deacon in the church.
Or,
I mean, I'm just saying, it goes on and on and on. But the point is, the dude, that's how he is. He don't give a shit unless it benefits him. He don't care, and that's life.
So your dad is who? Like Triforce?
No.
No.
Triforce is nothing like my dad. That's me.
Oh, okay.
I don't see Triforce.
That doesn't
You know
apply
what?
to Triforce.
Despite what Triforce, said or whatnot, I don't see him doing what my dad did. I don't see him doing that. I don't think he would do some of the shit. I don't think he does. I mean,
Yeah.
And Triforce, he's going to be selfish until one of two things happens. Either he's so selfish that someone close to him gets hurt, or he's so selfish that someone walks up to him and literally slaps the fuck out of him in real life. And the question is, it's inevitable one's going to happen. I wonder which one's going to happen first.
Well, violence breaks out of that. Somebody's going to jail.
Yeah, that's
Somebody's
sad.
going to jail.
Skisonic wanted to say that that he has no affiliation with Empire whatsoever. He's a neutral party that was calling how he see it. He's not a big,
Of course.
All right. So I mean, he
That's
wanted
why
that
like,
said. He's not Empire. He's not defending Empire. He doesn't want to be Empire, and he's not even friend with Triforce Game Master. But he just called based on what he saw tonight on the radio. He wanted that to be said.
And that's why with one sentence his argument, and I don't even remember what his argument was.
I think his argument was that you can't. He said that you saying that he made a personal attack on Nestor, but you're doing the same thing to him by threatening him to beat him up. That's what he was trying to say. Which he has a point.
Yeah, threatening not cool either. Actually, if he wanted to, Triforce can actually call the police and have him arrest you right now. Because you threatened him on the radio.
He can have me arrested. What he can do is he can have a restraining order put against me where I can't go near him for so-and-so.
But it's still considered a terrorist threat, saying that you're going to beat his ass and all that.
But my point about it
He
is,
could.
if anything happens to him, what is if even it has nothing to do with you, if he slips and falls and busts his head, but look like someone hit him in the head, I mean, if they go back, well, that can come back to you. That's my whole point. It's like weird shit that's like that has happened before,
I mean, if you say, the words, if you say those words, that's it. Terrorist threat. Go to jail. Felony.
Let him slip and
They'll
fall.
probably drop it down to a misdemeanor, but it's still, you can't just openly say stuff like that. You're gonna threaten someone, you're gonna beat someone up, or you're gonna kill them or whatever.
Dude, I blatantly on the radio. The only time that I would do something is if he had said something ridiculously, personally insulting to me. There's no proof that he has. If he falls and busts his head, I would love to see him try to sue me. Best Buy tried to sue me three times for their money back, and they failed, and they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So I would love to see his guy try to fucking sue me and get anything out of me.
But my point
People
is
are always going to insult each other, though. I mean, that's part of life.
You're saying that you're willing, that you're going to beat him up if he says something bad about you. I mean, that's what it boils down to. If that's the case, you're going to be in a whole lot of fights because people are going to say shit regardless. And you know,
people talk shit all the time.
I mean,
everyone
that's
gets
not
shit talked on. You know what I mean? What Nestor needs to do, I guess, maybe is be strong or something. Don't let shit affect him.
No, let's be honest. It really is a lose-lose situation, and that's why Isaiah said what he said. Why he did that. He knew he could get away with it, and there's no way that there'll ever be repercussions for what he said. He knew that in our society today, he can say whatever he wants, and if someone comes and makes him pay for it, oh, well, guess what? We go to jail, and he doesn't give a shit. That's why he said it. He's the lowest form of fucking life. He's the biggest pussy on the planet, and that's why he did it. All right, man, Bunky, I fucking ruined your radio show tonight. I know I did, so I'm going to take off, man. I got work in the morning.
All right, man. You have a good night.
Alright, man, I'm gonna hit this off. Thanks for having me on, by the way, and letting me ask the questions I wanted to ask to Damon, because I think at the very least, getting the shit and the beef between me and Jinmaster done, I think that was worth the whole radio show.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with you on that.
Alright, man, have a good night.
So Ben, do you remember our?
Hello? Hello? Ah, shoot. Skype crashed on me again. Oh, I forgot. I gotta dial his number. Hold on.
Hello?
Hey, I'm sorry. Skype crashed on me.
Hello? What's up?
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Skype
What?
crashed on me.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to, when people attack people, that's not the normal part of life, dude. Just like, how people attack me with, studio traffic. It's just something you just, take in and then you move on. Nestor, I don't know what the deal is with him or what the insult was, but this shit, they just need to move on. There's no need for, forcing an apology out of someone. I mean, I'm sure everyone remembered Watson and Triforce, right? I was there between Triforce and Watson when they talked about, an apology. Like Triforce didn't apologize. So, Watson and him, I guess they're not cool anymore or whatnot, but they both moved on. No need, there's no need to dwell on this anymore. DSP, he needs to stop about the threat, because if he wants to go to jail, man, he can go to jail first. Even if you say, oh, man, you know what, you better fucking not do shit to me or I'm going to kill you or whatnot. You say kill or whatever, that's it, you go to jail.
That's true. That's true. It can't go that far, and I mean, oh man. But at least it hasn't been a boring night.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you got a lot of listeners tonight, wanting to listen to what's going on. Cool. But remember, before I hung up with you, when I was telling you about me, Alex, and his girlfriend and Sung Lee was in the room, and we were just chilling, and I just whipped it out like crazy.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm known for whipping it out because I'm not afraid. I think Watson's seen it too one time. It was at a tournament. I just went boom. Everyone turned around and Watson's all like, "Hey, Duck, how come you're you're not circumcised?" You saw it. But anyways, sometimes you gotta have some serious topics. Watson said that to me weeks later. He's like, "Hey, dude, I remember that shit." I was like, "Hey, he's not circumcised." That's what he said to me. I was like, "Oh, okay, so you actually got a good look at it. That's cool."
I'm not gonna touch that. I can't.
Huh?
I'm not gonna touch that, man. That's a trap right there. I ain't gonna. It's like
No, it looks, and one of my ex-girlfriends from the past.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't know if you know what uncircumcised dicks and circumcised dicks look like, but I think uncircumcised dicks, they look like a chunk of Snuffleupagus or Sesame Street. So I had a pet name, Snuffleupagus. It was crazy, but
Oh my God. All you need to do is put some eyes on it, and you'll be good. Yeah.
No, yeah. get the black marker and draw some eyes on the freaking like the balls or something, and hang your dick upside down. They'll look like a nose and two eyes.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I guess tonight's topic was cool. You know, I got to listen in on some from two intelligent people.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Again,
and I guess, on a serious note, I mean, I guess you gotta end the night though with something funny. You can talk something serious, say something serious, and then end it with something funny. That's how maybe your radio station should be, man. Something serious in the beginning and then funny at the end. Or something funny in the beginning, something serious in the middle, and then funny at the end.
I agree with
Make
that.
that up.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So that was just a random fact that I threw out about myself. I guess it was funny, hopefully. And I'm about to go to McDonald's and get some food, and then head on home and want some help, like some nip tuck, and then call it a night.
All right, man.
All right?
All
We'll
right.
talk again, Ben.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Later, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well. Well, if anyone has anything to say, the number is 425-738-6216. Or if you got Skype, and it's free if you don't have it already, and you got a microphone or headset, you can message me at Bunkeye1, B as in boy, UNKEI 1. If not, I think we're done for tonight on the radio. If you wonder if I taped this all, yes, I did, and it will be up by tomorrow morning. All right, people. So I'll just wait here a few minutes just in case someone wants to call in. If not, I think it is about done. It is about a wrap. Man, 2 good radio shows back to back. Can't complain about that. Kai,
What's up, Blanc?
what's up, man?
Just calling in because I don't want you to sleep yet.
What?
Yeah, man, I can't allow you to get normal sleep. What the fuck?
Oh shoot! I guess I'm out of luck. What do you think of the radio tonight?
I wasn't even around, man. I was fucking playing Quake 2.
Oh damn! You know what? Forget you, man. I can't believe you wasn't around, man.
Yo, I'm sorry, man. I just, I'm just fucking always doing shit. And then I came back to my computer and I was like, oh, let me play some Quake because somebody asked me to. I'm sorry. Next time I won't do that. Did I miss anything important?
Important, probably not. Funny, insightful, interesting, yes. Like I said, there's no digital light attorney.
Oh yeah, what happened with that? Because I was hearing that it's over, basically.
It wasn't enough time, for the promoting and the marketing part of it, so they figured that it's not going to be a huge turnout, so they scrapped it.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that was definitely a problem because it's not like they're just doing a random 20 on the side. This is like big for them. Like they got StarCraft, WorldCraft 3 and all that other shit already set up, so they couldn't just throw that in.
Well, hopefully they'll get it in from the start next year, and and they'll do better with it, and it'll actually happen this time.
Yeah, and like they can't rely on other people doing that shit, or if they are gonna do it, they can't like rely on like SRK because SRK is trying to do their own shit now. They don't want to do what other people's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just need to get like they got like all this fucking time to do it. They were talking about it before Evo. They shouldn't have relied on SRK doing it right after fucking Evo because they probably didn't want to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I mean, it's interesting though because I wish that it was done. I wish it would happen this year. That's basically what I'm trying to get to because. I'm impatient. It's sad we gotta wait all up until next year before we see a tournament. like that. So
I don't know, man. Maybe we can push for some other place. I don't think we try hard enough. I don't think we try to get venues or anything like that. We always try to do our own side shit, but we don't try to see if we can like get some real fucking additions to these other big tournaments that go on. They have space and they can fucking. They saw people interested. I'm sure they'll throw something up.
well, here's the thing: DSP, Jinmaster, and and x3o, Damon, they were on the line. Jinmaster and DSP kind of squashed their beef, and the idea is for them to put their heads together and thought about making a really big tournament, a really big tournament, something that rivals the size of Evo. And
That'd be cool, man. I'll support that.
Yeah, I told them that if they would do that, that I would, whatever name they decide on, I will buy the domain name. I will host their website. I will even cover on the radio, and if it's possible, I'll even webcast it through my server.
See, that'd be nice right there.
That's like trying to show my support for it. So, and it's just, I know we can do it. We can pull our resources, because this dude in Dallas, this dude Jeff in Dallas got, a big Tekken tournament going at McDonald's.
God damn, see, that was a smart choice to go with somebody like that.
McDonald's and Coca-Cola sponsoring his tournament. I'm like, so if he can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, they're always looking for, publicity and ways to spread. You know how they are with the fucking hip-hop culture. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind getting the video game culture, too.
That's right, because young people is the bling-bling.
For real, it's not just fucking, online RPGs that get these fucking food corporations either. You know how, like, EverQuest got, like, Pizza Hut and shit like that?
Man.
See, that was awesome idea, McDonald's.
Yeah, like I said, I hope that, if we do, put our heads together and get a big tournament going, that we find some sponsors and the more exposure, the better.